All right, then we're live, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday Night Forum. I hope everybody's doing well. Stan, how are you doing?
Sorry, I just had to open the balcony door so the cat can get in and out.
All right, nice one. How are you doing, Stan?
It's the same old story, bad back. The never-ending story. It's the same story. So if you want to know how I'm doing, start the show last week when I was on, listen to the beginning bit, and it's exactly the same.
You're going to start to sound like a broken record then. Every week we'll do a health check with everybody. And
same shit, different day.
Don't do a health check with Tony. We'll be here fucking all night.
The man who broke the mold, Stan, Tony Turner. Tina Turner. Or what do we call him? Crockett, Davy Crockett. How are you doing, Tony? Keep it short now. Keep it short and snappy. What's your health history like?
I'm here.
Listen, I'm here sounds like what Arteta and Arsenal did on Sunday.
So what do you always say? I'm not looking forward to making 200-mile round trips twice a week for damn therapy.
We're getting a little bit of reverb back from you, Tony, in the background.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah. But Stan, I'll go to you then, Stan, as Tony figures that out. We're here, and Arsenal just turned up on Sunday.
Hang on. That background noise is back. Tony, what you done? You done something? You need Niagara Falls again.
Ray said I had.
It popped and then it came in. That's better. It's going to be one of those nights.
One of those nights, exactly. Expecting anything else? Listen, Hawkwind, thanks for being here. BX Gunner, always in the house. Yes, thank you. Listen, thanks for being here with us. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about our Arsenal game on Sunday. Stan, what's your takeaways from Sunday?
Well, good evening to you, Raymond and Tony.
Raymond.
Everybody that's listening in the chat box. I see we must be doing something right because Dick Insider has returned. So we must be doing something right for him to come and give us another look. Welcome.
Mr. Cider.
Dick Insider, yes. So Sunday, well, for me, right, it was at 8:30 kickoff in the morning. And so I decided to go down to the pub. We have an Arsenal pub. We show, they show all the games, and the kickoff was at 8:30, so the doors were opening at 8. And you got to get down there early, especially for the big games, because it doesn't have a big capacity. And in Canada, they're very big on fire hazards and not having too many people in. So you got to get that. You got to get down there early. So I get there at about 7:15, and there's already a crowd of people there. And on the way down there, when I was thinking about this game, I have to say that I was fairly buoyant about it, very confident. I felt that, we were definitely going to come away from this game with some points, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was so confident, I was even whistling as I was walking down to the pub, very chirpy. And when I got to the pub and there was a crowd of people already there, they all seemed in the same mood. Everyone had big smiles on their faces. Everyone was greeting one another. Everybody sort of, was looking forward to the game. And then about 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, they released the lineup. And I see everybody getting their phones out to check the lineup. And you could visibly see people's attitudes change, their expressions change. Some of them looking very quizzical. And then one by one, in pockets where the crowd was, you'd hear one word kept being said, and that word was Marino.
Oh.
It was seriously, it was, and I was looking at it, and even I said that, I was like, Marino, and I thought to myself, well, okay, I kind of get what I was trying to find something. I'm thinking, okay, he's playing it a bit safe, and he's going for, strength in the midfield. Marino's quite a big lad. It's quite a bit of a lump. And I thought, okay, maybe He's going, he's fine. I can see maybe this is what he's doing, and I'm seeing that Martinelli is still on the left and Eze is on the bench alongside Ethan Waneri and also young Max Dawson.
Yep.
But you could visibly see that people's moods changed as soon as they saw the lineup. And this has been a big talking point, right? Post-match, people talking about, that they were very surprised that Mikel kind of went with this this conservative lineup. A lot of people were sort of saying that they didn't feel that the lineup was bold enough, that there was other things that we could have done to perhaps give us a little bit more of a cutting edge to help Mr. Gyökeres out up front. A lot of people were saying, well, I'm surprised to see Martinelli starting again. Although there was a lot of some other people saying, well, he does do well for us usually against Liverpool. So there is that to think of.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it came to the lineup, it was very, very visible, myself included. So that's where I was as I sort of like entered the pub and took my seat.
Yeah, listen, I'll echo what you said. Back four, Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba at the time, and
Good
Timber.
back four.
Good back four,
Good back
and
four. Yep.
I like the fact that Calafiori has been cavalier and has played well for us and brings us something new in this team.
I would say just before you move on there, I would say that so far in these first few games, Calafiori has probably been our best player for me. I like what I'm seeing. I like his industry.
I just responded to a caption of who should be the player of the month, and I do have to give it to Jack Grealish. I did have to give it to Jack Grealish as my vote. He's been very good for Everton. But Calafiori
in the league. Yeah,
in the league, Calafiori was the nominee for Arsenal, and he's been one of our better players so far in the 3 games so far this season. Did create the assist for Gyökeres' goal against Leeds, and has obviously scored a goal at Old Trafford as well. But a look at the back five, I'm happy with that. But then, Tony, I look into the forward line. Okay, I can get behind the Martinelli, I can get behind the Madueke. I can definitely get behind Gyökeres starting for the third game in a row, being our number 9. We went out this summer, Tony, and we bought ourselves a striker. And the way we set up on Sunday really, really disappointed me and most of the Arsenal fans. We had the likes of these players sitting on the bench. The creativity we sat on the bench. Eze, our new signing. Odegaard, our captain. Dowman, an exciting young player. And then from last year, Ethan Waneri. And we even had Trossard on the bench, Tony. We had 5 creative players on the bench. And to me, you buy a striker, you need to put some creativity around the striker to get the best out of him. And we didn't do that on Sunday.
Nope. I didn't like it when I seen Martinelli on there. I think either go with Eze or Trossard because Trossard can make for passes and stuff. You got a big target man. So it shouldn't be too hard to find him. But we do what we always do. We play down the flanks when we need to learn to play through the middle and do simple stuff. Just do a through ball for somebody to run onto. Yeah.
Well, we had a situation. Since you mentioned a through ball, I'm going to mention this because it was very, very vivid after about 19 minutes. No, it was about 9 minutes, actually. Martinelli grabs a ball and carries it all the way down to the pitch, and he's got Gyökeres with him on a breakaway. Konate's on an island with Gyökeres, and there's a moment where Martinelli needs to release that ball. What does he do, Tony? He carries the ball forward and forward and forward until he runs out of the pitch. And the opportunity is gone. He's never even given Gyökeres the opportunity to square up Konate, who has been a dodgy player for Liverpool over the first 2 games. Martinelli never released that ball. And
I bet you Martinelli does that 60 times a year, just runs out the back line.
Aimlessly.
He's definitely he's definitely plateaued. That's why
Plateaued indeed.
I
Yeah.
I was wanting us to just get an out and out
I don't know if
left winger.
I don't know if he's even plateaued, Tony. He's gone over the hill and he's declining now. You know.
Yep.
Stan, your thoughts
So
on Martinelli in that situation? Konate's on an island with Gyökeres. That's what we talked about last Thursday night for him.
It kind of reminds me of the very first Football Manager, the game, when I used to play it on my Amiga. You have like 6 discs, and you've got to keep changing the discs. And during a match, right, you've got text coming up in the screen. You don't see anybody running around, right? You get a text call of telling you what's going on. And it would often say this one particular phrase, and it kind of reminded me, I'm going to use Martinelli's name as if it was in it. It would say, Martinelli skips past one, then another, and another. And then it would come up, but the move breaks down.
Yes.
And it kind of reminds me a little bit of what Martinelli's doing at the moment. You know, even though he is very good at doing the defensive part of the job, which I think is obviously down to instruction, and I think that Mikel Arteta really appreciates the defensive side of Martinelli's game. He's still able to get himself into 1v1s or attacking scenarios, right? He's still being able to. He's not like he's constantly defending and he's not getting a chance. He is getting chances, but the move the move breaks down. He goes too much with it. He goes too far with it. Like you're saying there, a quicker release might have been able to have continued the attacking play, but then he decides to take it down to the byline. Now he's got a couple of players in front of him, can't get the shot off. Do you know what I mean? The move for Gyökeres is now kind of broken down and Marcus can come tight. And I wonder if that was because there was a part in the match that I really noticed, and it might have been the same move. It might have been a different move, but Gyökeres on the left-hand side of the penalty box getting nudged off the ball by Konate. And that really surprised me, seeing that. And it was similar to what I said to you weeks ago just before he came in and I was talking about my concerns. And I mentioned that, I've seen in the footage of him, in his goal scoring opportunities when he was playing in Portugal. And he would find himself in situations where he'd be released, usually on the left-hand side, and then he would diagonally run, and there'd be a defender in front of him who's kind of like backing off him, looking at him, backing off. And then he'd make his move and they would get level. And invariably, Gyökeres was able to just run over that defender, knock him out of the way, go through him, whatever, because he's quite a big lad. And I thought to myself, I wonder if he's going to be able to do that in the Premier League with the defenders that we have here. And I did notice he got knocked off the ball by Konate. Now, it's only one incident. It doesn't mean it's going to happen all the time, but because it's something that I was worried about when I knew we were signing him.
You got the confirmation.
I kind of noticed it straight away. But just going back to Martinelli, and I think Tony's hit it on the head, and I've said it before. You have to remember where he's come from. The team that he came from, I'm pretty sure that at that time, that team, Ituano, was something like the 4th tier, maybe 5th tier of Brazilian football.
Yep.
It wasn't like the division below their main league or the division below that division. It's really low. And you've got to think that he's been able to come from that league and he's been fast-tracked into the Premier League. He didn't come to Arsenal and get loaned out to a team in the Championship or anything like that. He's come straight to the Premier League and has made himself to be a starter at Arsenal. And I think what has happened to him is I don't think that he's got worse as such. I think he's plateaued. Like Tony said, I think I've said it before on here, I believe. I think that's a good word for him. I think he's just reached his level.
Yeah.
From where he's come from, he's done incredibly well. And, he could be playing for a Sunderland. But for a team that's supposed to be, challenging, we need a little bit more on that left side. And even when he was left out for a game, I can't remember, was it a game back, he was left out. You'd think, okay, he's been a main starter. He found himself on the bench, and you'd be thinking that would light a fire under you. And there he is now, starting again for Liverpool, and it was just the same similar performance.
Yeah,
But I do think that the manager really appreciates the defensive work, believes in him, and he's still going to be a part of his squad for the
But
season.
at some point, doesn't Arteta learn that he doesn't need 8 defenders?
hmm
I mean, does Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, do they all really need a track back?
no,
And I think the way that we
no.
play is on the right hand side. You've got Saka, who's a winger, but he sort of like he curves in a lot. He doesn't take it down. And I think Mikel, I think it might be a tactical thing where Mikel wants somebody on the other side who's not going to do the same thing. He's going to stick to the line and stretch. And that's what Martinelli is very much a chalk to the boots kind of a winger. He's
Okay,
always very on that line, and invariably he'll take it down to the byline and then try to do almost down to where the corner flag is and try to do something from there. He doesn't seem to do that inverted run that Saka does on the other side. So maybe the reason that he's playing the way that he is down to very strict instructions. If you're going to play on the left side, this is what you need to do. And where I have a concern about that is, it's like, well, if he's going to take Martinelli out and put Eze in, is he going to be given those same instructions? Because it will take away from his game as well. Even though he can play on the left side, he is very much a player that will drift in and
yeah,
make a sort of a curved run and invert himself to
yeah,
get a little bit more central. Is he going to be allowed to do that? Do
yeah.
you know what I mean? Is Mikel Arteta going to be able
And
to relax a little bit and allow some flexibility?
uh,
Otherwise, Ezzy's going to have to be a chalk to the boots winger. And is that
uh,
really his game?
too little, too late when it came to the 69 minutes. We'll talk about this later, though. When it came to the 69 minutes, Eze did come on with Odegaard, and we played with basically two left eights and two creative players in the last 20 minutes of the game. But the caution that Mikel Arteta applied to this game was concerning for me after only 3 games into the season. Here you are, 3 games into the season, you have 2 wins under your belt, away to Manchester United and at home to Leeds. You've got maximum points, and you have a great opportunity to go to Liverpool almost with the handbrake off, as many have said, and play some cavalier football that we used to play a couple of seasons ago. This team and this manager is capable of playing more expensive football. We've seen it 2 seasons ago when we stretched Manchester City on 2 occasions, all the way to the end of the season. And that was with Martinelli when he scored 15 goals, as BX Gunner said. He's one of only 4 Brazilians to score 15 goals in a Premier League season. Now we have a situation, as Stan said, Martinelli's back in after a Saka's injury. So a Saka injury brings Martinelli onto the left side again when Madueke took his spot last weekend against Leeds. And
Yeah,
sitting on the bench, you have Eberechi, Eze, and you have Trossard, and you even have one area, 3 players who could easily take that berth in that winger spot on the left side. And it would look a little bit different. I think it would be a better fit because, as Tony said, running around with your head down. Um, and BX Gunner's asking if Martinelli has lost confidence in himself and he's just going through the motions. That's for Mikel Arteta to decide. But you can't sit here and tell me that Eze wouldn't have been better, Tony, or Trossard wouldn't have been better in those situations on the left in place of
But
Martinelli.
but I agree with Stan. I've been saying that with Odegaard that it's his instruction to go back and not be an attack. Finally, this year he's back to being a 10, but
Yes.
he was totally worthless as being an 8 tracking back. And it's like Martinelli apparently has instructions to be dropping back into coverage a lot instead of making the runs, cutting in like he should be. And you just, I always think back to the Amazon documentary.
Mm.
Arteta said, "This is the way we are to play. I can change players in and out, but this is how I'm to play." And he just seems so rooted in what he does. And I think that's what holds us back from winning the championship, winning the Champions League. I think we could do a lot more with the talent we have. He would just let the offense be offense, and I don't think that creativity's ever been there. And I still don't like him barking like a dog,
Mhm.
micromanaging what players do.
Yeah.
At
Here we
least, at
go.
least,
Yeah.
at least Jesus is injured now, so you don't have to hear Gabby, 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 Gabby. But I mean,
Well, I saw a tweet earlier in the week that saying maybe Gabriel Jesus would be tried in the left wing at some point in the future when he comes back.
yeah, but
Just
he
to
didn't make what Champions League
uh,
squad.
some had said Gabriel Jesus, not to get off the Martinelli point here, but someone said Gabriel Jesus is in fact a winger as well, and he's more
I thought
suited.
when he played on the wing though for Man City, he was on the right.
Yeah,
He was.
yeah,
But I think if you look at the tactics and the formation, the way that we play, when Saka's making his inverted runs in, he's got someone like Benoit at the other side of him who does the overlap. So it works. He's got cover when he makes that run inside. But on the left side, that seems to be where the fullback on the left side is the Mr. Inverter. Whether it's Zinchenko, whether it's Miles Lewis Skelly, and now Calafiori.
yeah,
So if you're going to have that person inverting in, that means that the winger on that side has to stick to the wing to cover.
yeah,
He can't invert as well. Did you know what I mean? He
yeah.
can't invert as well as with the left back. If the left back's being given that job, so I think that I kind of feel bad for Martinelli because we have seen, like you said, score 15 goals, but maybe there's a strict way of playing, and in this model, he's going to have to play that way.
Yeah, but Stan, do we need to? Does Mikel Arteta? You and I cannot pick the team. Tony cannot pick the team. That we are not putting the side out each and every weekend. But there's only one person in this world that can pick the team. It's Mikel Arteta, and is he picking the right team to win games? This one's got to be on him this time. These
Well,
3 points.
I think definitely in the first half when that game started, I think Liverpool paid Arsenal quite a lot of respect. They showed us a lot of respect, more than they usually would do. Usually they come out all pistons firing. They didn't. They were allowing us to knock the ball around the back a lot and have a lot of possession. And you only have to look at our corner count to theirs. They did show us a lot of respect, and it was quite cagey. It was quite cagey.
Yeah.
To be fair, and I was a little bit disappointed that with the amount of corners that we managed to get, that we weren't able to do anything, as that's what's supposed to be a speciality of ours.
Yeah. I just strong fancy the Magalhaes.
But I have to say that sometimes tight games are won on a mistake or an individual piece of magic. Sometimes a game can be decided in one of those two fashions, and on this occasion, it was decided by an individual piece of magic. Unfortunately, the magician wasn't on our side; it was on the opposition side.
Yeah.
And the pub, when that free kick went in, when he was lining it up, a mate of mine, Chopper, I could hear him he was sat behind me. He said to Mark, it's too far out. He's not going to go for the shot. And I didn't say anything. I was just looking. And when he went for the shot and it went in, you could have heard a pin drop in the pub.
Yeah.
It was just silent.
Yeah.
And people looking around at each other with like quizzical looks on their faces.
Yeah.
It was silent.
Many things to take away from this, Stan and Tony. This was a very, very tight game. One, an extremely close game, won by a set piece and won by, as Stan has said, a wonderful goal in the end. We have beaten teams in similar fashion, games that have not been very good. Uh, we beat Man City a couple of seasons ago when Martinelli actually scored the
That's right.
goal, a deflection late in the game. So we understand what it's like and how good it feels to score in the 80 some minute and knowing that you're likely going to get three
But
points at the end of
it
the
did
day.
it ever look like we wanted to go win? That we are doing more than playing for a draw? Because that seems like how Arteta had us drawn up
It's
was
more like
playing.
we played not to lose, and that's a very, very dangerous game to play. When you set
Yeah,
up not to lose and you set up such a conservative manner, then it's always likely that something like this will happen. You're not going to be able to contain a Liverpool side,
that's
and we did that for the whole game. We contained this Liverpool side. Verts, Salah, who was mastered by Calafiori, Ekatike, who'd been lively in the first two games, and Cody Gakpo. So Arsenal back four snuffed out everything the Liverpool had to throw at them. And at the end of the day, you concede a free kick, and you concede one from a distance. And Zabuzlai does have this in his arsenal, as you
but
would say.
but
You
at
know,
some point, don't you just decide to go all guns blazing instead of
yeah.
last year we had the 14
Well,
draws.
he tried.
If
So
you split those in half, that would have put us right behind
yeah, yeah.
Liverpool.
And
I
this is when
I would I'd rather get 0 points than 1 point
yeah,
by going out there trying to win,
yeah.
and it
I'd
never
rather
looked
I'd
like it.
rather roll the dice and you either get that win or you get that loss. But you don't get 1 point. You either get three. Half the
Surely
time
you
you get
meant you'd rather get 1 point than 0 points. Surely that's what you meant to say. You said you'd rather
well.
get 0 points than 1 point. I'd rather get a point.
I heard that, but I also heard that his meaning of we either win or we lose, and sometimes we win, Stan, and we get 3 points. But um, you don't try to settle for that 1 point, and in this situation, didn't happen for us. Didn't. So I let Tony off the hook a little bit there, right?
Yeah, I just to me, but the 3 points add up quicker between 0 and 1. That there's
Yeah,
not much difference,
yeah,
and so you might as well go for a win. That's what I'm saying there.
Oh right, okay.
yeah. So as
So
evidenced by last season when we did draw a huge amount of games, if we have
I do have a
won,
question for Stan because
Oh yeah.
you sent me the video and
Of
with of the new center back, but
oh
it's
Henkape.
but our center backs in general, most of them have played in a back three or played as fullback. At some point, don't you just have to put your best three back there and play with wing backs, or at least
No,
try it?
no, not
You
no,
don't think so?
no. And all I'm when you the way you describe that, I just got visions of Ruben Amorim's tactical board with the wing backs and stuff like that. No,
moving pieces around.
no. We've got one of the best defenses going, and I've always said that I think that our off the ball game is probably the best in the world for off the ball. It is, but that doesn't win you the games, right? You've got to be able to score. So I don't want to. I don't see a need to tinker with what we're doing there. If it's that good, just forget about it. Just work on the other stuff.
Let it be.
That's the
Yeah,
last.
let
That's
it
the
be.
last part of our game that we need to mess around with.
It's not the back five; it's the front five. You know,
Yeah, but
and
that inverting leaves a lot of space
listen, we have to give Mikel
space.
Arteta his flowers for the last 3 or 4 years. We've not had to sit here, apart from cup games. We've not had to sit here and say We've lost to a Liverpool side. We've lost to a Manchester United side. We've lost to a Manchester City side. You know, we haven't had to do these things. We haven't had to talk about losing to Tottenham either. But at some point, Mikel Arteta needs to show that he can take us further than this position that we're in right now.
But
He
but
needs to
with
show
teams
his
we
minerals.
but with teams we have lost or drawn against, it isn't good.
Yeah, yeah,
It balances out if you do okay against what top the other top five clubs, then you struggle against teams from eight to all the way down into the relegation zone.
yeah. And what do you think the league is going to be, a marathon or a sprint? Either way, we have to be ready for this. Now we're talking about a loss at Anfield. When Manchester City were in their heyday, they would go to Anfield and not win there very often either. You know, the other situation is in the Premier League, we're not going to face Liverpool until we meet them again in January. Liverpool, okay, we'll want to get 3 points at the Emirates against Liverpool when we see them again, because I remember drawing 2-2 to Man City and saying, we'll see you back at our ground. And what did we do? We beat Man City 5-1 last season. There's something similar has to happen at Arsenal and at the Emirates in January. We got to beat that Liverpool side. Outside of that, it's going to be about consistency against the other 18 teams in the league. You know, we are playing our own game against the rest of the league. Liverpool will do their thing. We'll have to do our thing. So for people to say it's too early yet, Stan, to say that the league is out of our reach, it's about how we bounce back from this, having
Well,
lost Anfield.
well, Liverpool are now ahead of us in the league.
Yes,
We've only let in one goal in 3 games, right?
yes,
And let in the one goal, and that was a piece of magic. And even though Liverpool are ahead of us, when I've watched them in their previous games, they look beatable. They
yes.
don't look like they don't look like, wow, look at this team. They look beatable every time, and they manage to squeak out of it. How long can that continue? And to be fair, they kind of looked a little bit like that last season.
That's why I was
But
saying
they won and they
last
won.
year.
Yep. But do you know, like, they won because after 15 games, they built up a gap to Arsenal, something like 6, 7, 9 points, something like that. And we were never able to close that gap, largely due to injuries. But we were never able to capitalize in situations where we drew, as Tony said, we drew 0-0 to an Everton side at the Emirates at home. We drew 1-1 away at Fulham. These are the kind of results where you have to beat Everton at home. You have to beat Fulham at Craven Cottage. You have to go to these grounds and win games. Um, and that was the situation. But you rightly say, Stan, this Liverpool team is not impregnable. It's not all conquering. They've bought a lot of firepower, but I feel like their fullbacks are very suspect. They have two central defenders, and if they have any kind of injuries, and what's very important this window, they never were able to get Mark Gay in the door as well, which was very important to them, almost as important as getting Isaac. But
But
uh,
that's going to be interesting to see now that he's got Isaac as well. Now he's got a very interesting selection headache to
mm,
make.
and making all of the pieces work as well.
Because you could
Um,
say, okay, he plays the Ekatike and Isaac together, and he plays Ekatike instead of Gakpo. But if I was Gakpo, I wouldn't be very happy because I've done very well so far this season. Why am I being taken out?
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And then he got Florian Wirtz, that they spent around 130 million on, and okay, it's only the third game, and maybe he hasn't settled, but you're not looking at him and going, wow, I can see why they stumped up all that cash.
No, no.
Not as yet. Anyway,
These are
you know what I mean? Not as yet.
these are the questions that need to be asked for sure. And we had Calafiori, as BX Gunner said, for once, Mo Salah was missing in action, largely due to Calafiori and the physicality that he played Mo Salah with. Um, why was the manager why was the manager so reserved in his selections, almost as if he doesn't want to use the shiny new toys, or indeed the young gems, Waneri
It's,
Well,
or Dawson?
I think it's become obvious to all of us now that if you're going to try and categorize us, the style of play that Mikel Arteta is as a manager, you'd have to say it's defensive. It's not like Arsene Wenger trying to put three number 10s in the team. Do you know what I'm getting at? And trying to get a lot of flair and creativity. He's a more pragmatic manager, and I believe for him, it's like, when you build a team, defense is first. You build from the defense up. I think he's of that. He's cut from that cloth. Because I mean, how many goalkeepers have we gone taken to get to David Raya, for
Yeah,
example?
yeah.
You know,
Oh,
or how many center
and
backs and fullbacks?
and I can see and it's great forward planning for what he's done, what we've done in this window, because Kim Cape and Mosquera, if you're clever, and I hope Mikel Arteta is on this sort of page where now you don't have to run Gabriel Megalegs into the ground over the course
or
of the season
Saliba.
and in cup games, or Saliba, because you've got people that can come in and cover and get minutes as well. Henkape is a good player, and
Um,
when Mosquera came in a big game, it reminded me a little bit about when Megalegs went out with put Kivior in, everyone's like, oh my god, this is
yes,
going to really hurt us, and then before you
yeah,
knew it, you weren't even thinking about it. Mosquera was the same.
yeah.
It was
That,
it, it wasn't
what
it wasn't that long in the game where I just totally forgot about him because he was doing his job. Do you know what I mean?
absolutely what a fantastic debut. I think it's a debut he made for Arsenal up at Anfield, and a lot of good careers are built on Arsenal players debuting up at Anfield. Ray Parlour was one of those who debuted there. But as you rightly said, Stan, Mosquera never put a foot wrong all game. Foot perfect, and always made us feel comfortable that he wasn't going to be in any kind of stress. Tony, Mascara coming on for William Saliba. There's some conjecture about William Saliba if he did an injury before before the game started. But
Well, what I heard on it is that it happened within an hour. So if it's under an hour now, the rule is you have to use a substitute. And
okay,
Arteta didn't want to use a substitute, so instead
yeah,
he went and rolled
with
his ankle
Saliba,
again, which ankle sprains can be very bad, especially if they're a high ankle sprain.
yeah,
I've had a couple. I wish I would have broke my ankle instead because it hurts less.
yeah. Um, very, very, very dangerous if he was playing a risky game with William Saliba. Hopefully the injury is not so bad, and I don't
Yeah,
know if he's going to line out for France or if he's gone to the French squad.
and
Has
what's
he?
weird about that?
I don't know if he
And
has or not, William Saliba.
and early last week, I was reading how Eze wanted to stay during the international break and get match fitness.
Okay.
So that's kind of why Arteta has been holding him back. But he played the first game of the season for
Yes,
Palace, and it's
he
like,
did.
And he played the Charity
why,
Shield.
why
Played in the
didn't he
Charity
play
Shield
for us?
also. And listen, Liverpool fans won't thank me for saying this, but I'm very happy that the Crystal Palace managers put up a big fuss about Mark Gahey. If he'd have gone to Liverpool, that would have made um, our task much more difficult because Liverpool team would have more quality, especially at the back. And listen, we can fight Liverpool in the league, but they are not going to win all four competitions that they're entered in. And there's nothing stopping this Arsenal team from winning silverware this season. And it has to be the standard going forward this season for me anyway. Mikel Arteta's got to deliver a trophy to the cabinet. The noises are getting a little bit louder and louder about Mikel Arteta, and the Mascara was played really well when called upon. But for me, the selection, Stan, I'll go back to you, Stan. The selections where Odegaard plays and the selections where Martinelli plays were the two glaring, um, gaping holes for me on Sunday.
If Odegaard is fit enough to be on the bench, then why not start?
Yeah,
Why not just start him?
it might have been doctor's advice, right? You say, don't you
Yeah,
might not want to. He can play, but you don't want to risk it if he falls again.
Yeah, but you
but he,
got
brought,
five,
he brought him on and he risked it.
you got five substitutions. If these
Do you know what I mean?
four
He brought
out,
him on and
why
he
not
risked,
take him
it.
on?
He did. Yeah,
Don't have him on the bench at all, right?
yeah.
You know,
Listen, you had one area didn't get on the field at all. Daumann did. Max Daumann did. Eze got on. Odegaard got on. No
but I
Trossard.
know a lot of people are
Eze.
saying about why did Dalman come on ahead of Waneri, but is this a positional thing now, where they made a big song and dance, didn't they? That Waneri's position isn't really on the right hand side; it's more in the middle. So maybe on the right hand side, the pecking order is Saka, Madueke, and then it's Dalman. And you know, in the Odegaard, the pecking order is Odegaard, Eze, Waneri. And because, you know, it was on that right-hand side where they made the substitution, it's like, well, you know, Madueke is coming off. We're going to bring on Dalman. And if we're not doing a change in the middle there, so Waneri doesn't get on, it could be more of a positional thing. Even though, for me, you know, Waneri's looked really good playing on the right-hand side when he made his debut in his breakout season, last season. But also as well, one thing that Max Dalman is very good at doing is drawing penalties. Is that part of his job?
Yeah.
To draw is that part of his role? Do you know what I mean? Go on and get us a penalty.
Why not? If it's part of the game as well, you know what I mean?
So I mean, I get why some people are going like, oh, you know, Waneri's kind of should have been higher up. But if it's a positional thing and they're being strict about that, you know, maybe on the right hand side, the pecking order is Saka, Madueke, and then Max Dalman.
We gotta talk about Madueke a little bit as well. Arteta is like a lawman, says BX Gunner, that doesn't carry or use a gun. So he just has a baton. He just has a baton, really. Carries it around, you know, holds it against his elbow with the 90-degree thing. In my opinion, if they didn't score that free kick, they still would have scored in the 90th minute. Look, I think BX,
We never know.
we've gone to Anfield. This is what is disappointing. We've gone to Anfield the last 2 or 3 seasons and we've showed up and we played good football and we've actually come away with results. They were draws, but we came away with results.
I thought up until the free kick, I thought it was ending 0-0.
Yeah, it had it
I thought we were gonna get a point, and I guarantee you, both benches did as well.
Yeah,
you know, both coaches and what have you were thinking, okay, it's a piece of magic. You know, a goal like that. It's no different to Declan Rice, what he did at the Bernabeu. It's one of those. It's like, wow. You know?
We have a new viewer here, Shibo. Thanks for being here. Maybe you were here before, guys. What do you think? What do you think Miles Lewis Skelly's future is now after Calafiori and Hincapi? Is he moving to midfield? Well, I'll just say I think there's enough games for a young player at Arsenal to still prosper and develop his game. There's going to be 60-odd games for this Arsenal side, and we're going to need Miles Lewis Skelly at some point. Calafiori will not last the whole season, unfortunately. He's a little bit brittle with injuries. I can't speak about Hincapi too much, but Stan, you jump in there. What do you think? about Miles Lewis-Skelly? Will we see him
Well,
in midfield?
I think, I mean, he started doing that already at the end of last season. And the good thing about him, it's not that he'll be moving to midfield. We now have a player on the bench that can come on in midfield or left back. You know, as you say, if Calafiori gets injured or needs to be rested, you know, and you're playing Henkape at left back, for example, you know, you could take him off at some point and bring on Miles Lewis-Skelly. I think it's good to have that versatility. So he will be getting minutes this season, and I will say that he's going to get, you know, quite a few appearances. But it's going to probably be in both of those positions. And you know, Mikel loves that. He loves a player that can play in more than one position. And with Henkape, I know that, you know, Kivior, you know, if you were looking on FIFA and you look at like the player and then you got like where it says the positions they play, I know for Kivior it'd probably say, you know, LCB for left centre back and, you know, LB for left back.
Stroke LB.
Yeah. But yeah, exactly. But as we saw, he didn't really look comfortable for us playing at left back. I know that he's played there, he's probably covered there and done a job and then gone straight back into his normal position when the other guy come back. But this Henkape, he plays both of those positions and he has played both of those positions. He's only 23, but he's had like thousands of minutes.
Yeah, like 8,500 minutes in the back three,
and he's played a lot of, you know, over thousands of minutes at left back as well as in the centre back. So that's quite, you know, it's quite confident to know that he can hold both of those positions. So I'm looking forward to seeing him this season.
Yeah,
he's in my FIFA team. If that means anything.
Fantasy.
No, the FIFA thing, you know, like the FIFA 24. I'm always a year behind. And I did a similar thing. I sold Kivior and replaced him with Henkape, and he's kind of like my backup cup guy for Gabriel.
But
he's Uruguayan. He's Uruguayan. I watched the thing about him. I think I sent that I sent to you. A lot of assists. Do you know what I mean? Can get cards, but so did Gabriel. I mean, one of the things that you'd have to say that the coaches at Arsenal have to get, you know, a round of applause for is how they've managed to help Gabriel round out his game. Because as good as he is, when he first came to us, he was a little bit rash. He used to, do you know what I mean, get himself, you know, written down in the referee book too often, and he doesn't do that anymore. So you know, if Henkape has that kind of side to his game, maybe we can help him there, right? But I'm excited to see him, and a good deal as well, on loan. But we're not going to pay the money until next season, and it's not even an obligation.
I want to gather Tony's thoughts on Henkape as well. If you watched him, Tony, let me know if you can add more to what Stan has already stated.
Yeah, like I said earlier, watching that video, Stan showed him as a little over 8,500 minutes in the back three.
8,500 minutes?
Yeah, 8,500
in his season.
Minutes.
No, in his career.
Total.
Oh, his career, yeah.
He's 23, right?
Right, so that's you get about a full season's about 3,000, right? A pretty big season's about 300 or 3,000.
About 4,000. That's what
4,000 minutes. Okay, close to. Sheba says, "I'll come back to you then, Tony. Henkape will be a great link up for Eze. Those overlapping runs on the left. I've watched him bits and pieces with Leverkusen. He's athletic, a little direct too. Excited to see him at the Emirates. So add into that, Tony."
Yeah, it's hard to say. Haven't seen much of his play. Don't really watch German football anymore. I used to watch it. But he definitely has a potential, and we'll see what happens. Especially one thing that hasn't been talked about. Saliba's never put pen to paper, and his contract ends at the end of the year. So.
Yeah, they'll get the deal done with Saliba for sure. Um, so yeah, exciting times at the back for Arsenal.
We
Hincapié,
haven't. This is our this is, this is our first pod since the window's actually shut. Right?
yeah.
We haven't actually. We should give a rating, and in the chat box as well, to give a
Well,
rating out of 10 of what you think this window was and why.
Well, that was my intention for tonight as well, to talk about the window in general. So you're right on point there, Stan. We should round out the game a little bit, and then we'll get to the window. How about that? About another 10 or 15 minutes. So we talked about Mosquera, a great debut at the back, filling in for Saliba. I think the opportunity for Hincapié
Yeah.
and
I don't like the number. I don't like his number though. I don't like his number.
What is it? 4?
I don't like his number. Number 3 is the left back's number. Number 3.
Listen,
That's the left back's number. Not a centre.
I know,
defender.
but
I don't like that.
you have to. You
Numbers.
can't
I've got a thing with numbers, man. They've got to be in the right places.
like, it's impossible to resequence all of the numbers. Sorry. But we have.
I don't like seeing
Mosquera.
Saliba at number 2. I don't like seeing Saliba at number 2 either. I don't like
We
that
have
either.
we have able deputies for our centre backs. Let me just say that much. When it comes to midfield as well, Mikel Arteta needs to, grow a pair and start putting the right players. Like you've said it before, and maybe in jest, you're looking at the bench and there's a bunch of creative players, and then you see Mikel Mourinho. Mikel Mourinho can do a job for you. Don't get me wrong, but when it comes to creativity, he's not the guy who can create for you. He's the guy who can get on the end of something. He reminds me a little bit of Aaron Ramsey. When we used to need a goal, Aaron Ramsey would ghost into the box and get on the end of something. Tony's dropped. He's been dropped to the reserve.
With Mikel Mourinho, I didn't know too much about him when he came in. I don't watch the Spanish league. I thought he was more of a defensive style of a midfielder, and I don't know whether that's the truth or not. But I think that in Mikel Arteta's eyes, he sees him as an attacking midfielder. He sees him as a player that will try to score goals.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the reason, hence him, almost being a backup striker at times, right, and getting that run.
But
so whatever you may think about him, or I might think about him, I think in the manager's eyes, he saw that if Odegaard was out, I think he thought that as he looked at Mikel Mourinho as another goal outlet, not as somebody that was going to sit, not as somebody that's going to be defensive. And I think a lot of the fans look at Mikel Mourinho in that way, but the fans aren't Mikel Arteta, and I think he sees Mourinho as, in his eyes, as an attacker, almost like a second striker. He's not going to be shot in the box in the left shots.
What do attackers and strikers need in order to score, Stan?
Good finishing.
Good finishing.
Service.
Yes, service. That's exactly what I was looking for. Service and creativity.
Service. But sometimes a really good striker can create their goals out of nothing.
Right. But
do you know what I mean? You have some strikers that do you know what I mean? I don't. Thierry Henry didn't just rely on service. He got a lot of. Thierry Henry and Dennis Bergkamp got a lot of good service, but they didn't rely on it. Sometimes some players can get goals out of nothing.
Right. They had the likes of Perez, Lundberg, Vieira, Parler to give them the service that they needed.
But a lot of times they pick it up at the halfway line and still do work to get it.
Thierry Henry did that a few times, the halfway line, and took it all the way. A la Martinelli, but the difference between Thierry Henry and Martinelli is that Thierry Henry knew where the goals was. Thierry Henry
Overmars and Martinelli would be a good comparison, right?
Yeah.
You know the way that Overmars used to command that left-hand side. Wow.
Could you imagine?
That's what you want.
Could you imagine Thierry Henry coaching Martinelli? What he would say to him? I shudder to think what he would say to him when he's
probably trying to convert him into a striker.
Yeah, I mean, probably. But Martinelli, he can do that. We've seen him do that at Real Madrid. You know, um, we've seen it when he gets into some space, he can finish. Martinelli will score goals for us this season, but it's just gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt our eyes watching it, game in, game
But
out.
And his
sometimes
stats.
Stan, sometimes it feels like he's looking for those little goals they put out there. He
Yeah,
Yes,
he
in
he's
training.
just search
head
he's
down.
just searching the baseline.
Yeah,
Oh, the little net's usually here.
he's like a dog with his nose to the
But
ground, trying to find the bone.
but
Yeah,
you know,
not looking
people
up
were
at all.
talking
Yeah,
about trying to get a replacement on the left, it always like made me raise an eyebrow when people would bring up Anthony Gordon, because yes, you've got the eye test, but if you actually look at the stats, you know, from a winger, a wide forward, you're looking for goals and assists, right? That's the main thing that you really want. If they can do some defensive work, good as well, but you want goals and assists. And if you compare Martinelli to Anthony Gordon in those two areas, you can barely slide a cigarette paper between them. There's no difference.
yeah.
And I think Anthony Gordon hasn't, you know, I was watching a game the other day. I think it might have been the game where he got sent off, right? But one of the commentators said like Anthony Gordon hasn't scored now in 20 games. I was like, fucking hell, really? Why is everyone going on about this guy like he's going to really like do something for us on the left hand side? Do you know what I mean? Martinelli hasn't gone 20 games without scoring, and he probably won't. So, and another thing as well is when people say, I've said this before, when they say, "Oh, I think he's lacking a bit of confidence," and I always think to myself, I don't understand that if you're a starting player at a team like Arsenal, the manager is showing his confidence in you because he's still picking you. Your contract is nice and sorted out. They're not trying to like take the piss out of you with how much they're paying you. You've got a nice contract.
The mortgage is sorted.
Why are you not feeling? Why are you lacking confidence? Trossard should be the one that's lacking confidence because he's not getting picked. Do you see where I'm coming from? So why is he lacking in confidence? Why isn't he able to back himself? Because he's got everything else going for him. He's got the manager's support. He's got his teammates' support. He's got the ownership support because they've made sure that he's being paid adequately. It's on 180 bags, right? It's not bad. So he's got everything going for him. What is he lacking in confidence in? Is that some sort of mental problem, mental issue? Because if you're not getting picked, and the club won't do a new contract with you, and you're not sure what your future is and whatever, I can understand that you might be lacking confidence in yourself because you're not getting any belief shown in you by anyone around you. No one's believing in you, right? Martinelli's not got that. So what is the confidence issue? Don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Mikel Arteta needs to, get back to a situation where Martinelli can do a job for us. It's been noted in the semi-final of the PSG game in the Champions League. You look at our bench, and all of that bench now has been moved on, and we brought in a multitude of players, 7 or 8 players, and
8 players altogether, isn't it?
We don't need to turn out Martinelli on the left wing.
Gary should be happy he finally got his 8 players, Stan.
Yes. So to round out this this fixture at Anfield, we lost a really, really tight game that we never really had any jeopardy in. We didn't try to throw the cat amongst the pigeons. Madueke, I thought, had the beating of Kirkes most of the time. Liverpool fans will tell you the opposite, but I saw Madueke go past Kirkes on a number of occasions.
And the longer they have to play a midfielder as a right back, it might have worked in that game, and he scored a nice set piece. But week after week, I've seen it with Xhaka. Do you remember there was a time when, for some reason, we played Xhaka at left back, and in the first game that we did it, he had a really good game, and everyone's like, it was like, oh wow, what have we unlocked here? He played 2 more games after that at left back and stunk up the whole place. Because you know why? He ain't a left back.
Yeah, and
And it's the same with Solobazai, right? He might have had
I
that
think
game and done it, but he's not a right back, and he's going to
he's
get
not
got
a
at.
right back.
He's going to find himself in the wrong positions because he doesn't know that position, and he's going to let somebody in.
Yeah,
And
and I
something
don't know
else
the
about
extent.
something
of
else
when-
about the game that I didn't like more on our side is that there are times when we play it at the back, and then whoever the goalkeeper, whoever Raya passes it back to the goalkeeper, and then Raya has to get it out, and then they pass, and then meanwhile you've got the opposition getting closer and closer,
Yeah.
and I think to myself, why are we constantly putting our goalkeeper under pressure when there is no need for it?
I think it's a
There is
deliberate.
no need for it. And then what happens is, usually on the third one, and he done it, didn't he? He panics, and instead of passing it to defender, he tries to pass it into the midfield, and it gets cut out.
Yeah,
And now the
it's a lot.
goalkeeper's under pressure. I don't understand why we have to put our goalkeeper under this. It gives me heart palpitations. I can only imagine what it's doing to David Raya, right? And I'm in the pub or sat on a sofa, and I'm like, what are you doing here? They keep doing this. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Part of the modern game.
I don't like it, and it's gonna cost us a couple of goals.
But there's already been a couple.
Goals. I like
Yeah,
it.
but we're gonna gain a couple, maybe gain a few more goals then. So the ledger will read that we will gain more than we lose. But we'll obviously see the ones that we lose and know why we lost them. But the play
when he
goes
plays it out to the back to one of the fullbacks or whatever, why play it back to the keeper? The fullback needs to make a forward pass.
And the other thing is, well,
you know what I'm saying? We do it twice, 3 times. Sometimes it goes back 3 times, and you're like,
so we do that.
What are you doing?
Then all we do is clear it in the end. The goalkeeper comes back to the goalkeeper again, and he just hoofs it into midfield. And Zubamendi was having a tough time in some of the midfield duels as well.
When he played it long, though, his distribution to Madueke was pretty good. When he played it long, he had good distribution. Something else in the game that I didn't like as well. That every time we had a set piece, why was Declan Rice literally just strolling to the corner?
Yeah.
There was no get there. And again, that must be, people are saying that we were set up for a draw. Maybe that's it. Time waste. Try and time waste where you can, because almost every corner, Declan Rice, he went to the corner shop, bought a newspaper, bought a Twix, a lighter, then came to the corner flag. It's like, where are you going? What are you doing? Why is it taking so long? Why is it taking so long? That's a team that has set up to draw, right?
BX said, just bring it back to booting up the field. We have players that can get the ball. Yeah, I mean, but this is the way the modern football is conducted this way now.
Yeah, but Ray, there's been at least 2 or 3 of those that you could have called as a backward pass and gave up a penalty.
Yeah,
and that shouldn't be happen.
Only if the goalkeeper picks it up, of course, right?
But that happened in the reverse game. They just didn't call it.
Liverpool have been lauded by Salah. They've been lauding Salah for a long time, and Salah was very quiet on Sunday. Calafiori kept him quiet. Madueke took the battle to Kirkes.
What did you think of Madueke?
I thought he had a good game.
Yeah.
Let me just say, if I had an impression, I haven't watched him as a Chelsea.
Wasn't it the same thing? Remember what I said earlier about he skips past one, then another, another, and another, but the move breaks down. Where's the end product? The end product, man.
Dan,
I like that he's got that in his game. I like that he's willing to go past players. All right, Tony.
I'm not going to compare him to Alexis Sanchez, but Alexis Sanchez was a direct player also. Madueke seems like
a better end product. But the end product, even if it's not like where he goes through, he's dribbling and he finds himself in the box. Even if it's not a shot and he goes for the pass, he's not finding the player.
But
his end product is annoying, and hopefully that will get better.
Right.
Hopefully it will get better.
Are you so Stan? When it comes to Madueke, Are you a little bit more impressed than you thought you would be, or less impressed than you thought you would be?
Um, I like his gumption. I like his directness. I like that he's not going to get the ball and then pass it back. He
Generally
wants he
positive.
wants to get. I like that bit. I just
Yeah.
hope that the end product part of it gets better because it could be lethal.
Right. You're generally positive about things. And looking at our fixtures, just glancing ahead, looking at our fixtures, we are the early game on next Saturday. Not this weekend. The following weekend, we're the early game. We play Nottingham Forest at home. Nottingham Forest, who have had some difficulties. So let's get back to it. Let's get these 3 points and put some pressure on the teams ahead of us as well. Um, I'd have to see who Liverpool are playing next. I feel like it was a tricky. Well, it's tricky in that it's Burnley on Sunday morning. Burnley away for Liverpool.
Let me ask you a question, right? If Gyökeres ends the season on 15 goals,
Yeah.
but he doesn't score a goal against Liverpool, home or away. He doesn't score a goal against Man City, home or away, and he doesn't score a goal at, let's say, Chelsea, home and away. Would you take that?
Listen, I'm getting 15 goals, so I take it. But would I have liked to have seen him score? And what I think he will score he'll probably score 2 goals or 3 goals in those fixtures.
That'd be
So
nice.
so basically, you're asking me if I want another Sanchez or a Bummering, which they did not score against the top six.
Ooh, Aubameyang did score against Liverpool.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe 1 or 2 goals, Ray.
Yes.
But
He
overall,
definitely he scored the yeah.
Alexis Sanchez scored against United.
they had bad records over the years, Ray, against the
All
top
right, well,
six.
give me a 15 plus goal score. I think you'll get 20. I think you'll get close to 20. I have him at around 18.
He's only scored because people say like, oh yeah, he scored twice in 3 games. For me, I'm always like, no, he hasn't really.
Well, yeah.
No.
Yes. No.
He scored twice in 1 game.
Yeah, but you know what?
If you say he scored twice in 3 games, it's like you for some reason it feels like it's spread out. He scored once, twice in 1 game, right?
Well,
That's what he's done.
It's like saying you've got 20 English pounds to cover you for 3 days, right? You can make 20 stretch for 3 days, can't you, Stan?
And he's only missed 1 penalty in his career. So.
Yeah.
And so a game against someone like Nottingham Forest, you like to think, okay, if that's where you're going to get your goals, then get them.
Back at the Emirates.
Get 2 goals against Nottingham Forest.
Yes. Back at the Emirates, exactly. And then we'd be talking about 4 goals in 4 games, right? See how this works, Stan?
Yeah, I can see how it's working.
Or £40 over 4 days. Here's £40 over 4 days is better than £20 over 3 days.
Tiger and Guna has joined us.
Good
morning.
Tiger and Guna, where you been?
Good morning.
We missed maybe you wanted to miss the first part of the show where we talked about Arsenal's defeat at Anfield. Any final thoughts to bring to light? Listen, for me, it's outrageous that Mikel Arteta looked at the second half and the first 5 or 10 minutes of the second half. Everybody could see the signs that Liverpool were growing into the game, and he didn't make a substitution until the 69th minute. What are you doing, Mikel Arteta? What are you doing? The game has gone away from you at that point.
So, what's your thoughts on just to finish with Liverpool? What are your thoughts on them now? The next time that we face them, they'll probably have Isak in the lineup. What's your thoughts on the old? Now that it's all wrapped up and it's all been done,
They will have Isak in the lineup, but because of the African Cup of Nations, I believe, in January, some people have said that Mo Salah will not be there, which is fair because we didn't have Saka.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So nobody, when you're on a podcast with somebody, they're giving you crap, Stan. You can just say, well, Bukayo Saka wasn't at Anfield. We were missing a few players. Now,
Did,
we
oh,
could have
did
helped
you
ourselves,
did,
right?
okay.
If
Did you
we'd have
also
played.
see how
Mhm.
Sky tried to tuck up David Wright about his comment about the balls, getting used to the balls?
You know what?
That was pretty disgraceful. So they basically, for those that you don't know, they were speaking to
Mhm.
David Raya, post match, and they asked him a question. They asked him about, how there's new balls that they're using in the Premier League, and they asked him about his thoughts on the new balls, right? And so he answered with, "Well, I'm still getting used to the new ball.
Mhm.
We're all getting used to it, blah blah blah." But the way that they done it, right, is that they clipped it and put it out without the question. And the way that it's done, it's like David Raya's come on, and they're trying to paint it like the reason that he's saying that, they were able to score the free kick and that he wasn't able to save it is because of these new balls. Look at Arsenal making up excuses. It's about new balls now. And it's like, what are you trying to tuck him up for?
Yeah.
You literally asked him what his opinion was on these new balls, right? And he answered you.
Media love that.
Hey,
I
it's
thought
not
that
the
was
media.
I thought that was really, really bad journalism, and I heard him laughing about it and talk sport, and people saying, "Oh yeah, look at them." It's just like, okay, that's where we are. Nobody likes us. We don't care.
I think it's
We
because
ain't got no friends.
Arteta's brought it up multiple times.
He hasn't brought, but has he brought it up, or has he been asked the same question by a similar journalist, Hack, who is, trying to get himself a headline? Let's be clear about this. When managers and players are being interviewed, they don't care about what they're saying. They just want to take a soundbite, or they just want to take a few words that they can put on the back pages.
Yeah, but that's why you say I've already answered this before. And next question.
Yeah. I mean, I would love if Mikel Arteta especially would take that on board as well.
Arteta talks himself into trouble all the time.
Yes, he does. And do you remember, Tony, and Stan will know because I've talked to him about this, when Mikel Arteta first burst onto the scene, he gave very little away. He did not talk very much about particulars. He was very careful in interviews to not give them that soundbite, not give them that quote. Now he seems almost too happy to have these conversations and mention it.
Yeah, I don't think we have a very good public relations team.
No, or advisors, because we saw it in the documentary. Mikel Arteta is walking toward the um, toward the area, right, for the interviews, and he's being briefed about what's the order of the day, what you might get asked about. I feel like he needs to do a little bit more work in that area and be briefed more succinctly. Remember, a journalist asked Klopp a stupid question to him. Yeah, and it was okay. It was okay the way Klopp replied to the journalist. All of the media, all of the pundits that are out there, they package Liverpool stuff differently to how they package Arsenal content. Have you noticed that?
Oh yeah, for sure. But even us just saying it is now a conspiracy theory to anyone else on the outside, right? So
Yeah,
everyone's
we're
against
just whinging. We're whinging again, right?
Yeah.
And
But I've seen other podcasts. I've seen podcasts which are Man United podcasts talking about this very thing, about some of the treatment that we get. The way that the pundits are sort of like trying to praise Ekitike over Gyökeres and saying how Gyökeres doesn't look all that. But if you actually look at the stats, they're the same. They're the same. The stats are exactly almost like the same, and not just the goals and other areas as well. But it's just the way that it's packaged, right?
Yeah.
It's just the way it's packaged. Meanwhile, Tony.
He's
Meanwhile,
writing something down.
meanwhile,
Probably
do you know what I mean? You don't hear anyone really saying anything about Sesko. Who's not even been able to really get a starting place
Cricket.
other than
Cricket.
Grimsby for Man United. They spent 73 million on him, and they'd rather start another player who doesn't even play in that position. Cunha. So why did you buy that guy?
Manchester United.
What's happening there? But you don't really hear nothing about that.
Yeah.
Whereas our player, you know, he couldn't get eased in because Havertz got injured. He's had to go straight in. He's had to step straight into the breach, basically. Do you know what I mean? Straight into the breach, basically, because of Havertz. He's not had anyone to ease him in. So we'll see. Nottingham Forest, you know, if those are the teams that he's got to get his 15 goals, and go and get 2 against Forest.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Get a hat trick. Get a hat trick.
This is a Manchester United team that struggled to beat Burnley. Needed an injury time goal, penalty to win the game. 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss. These are the Manchester United fans who feel like they can sit at the table and criticize Arsenal. You know, get yourselves into a top 4 race, even Manchester United. Then you can talk.
What do you think about that? It turns out that there was a Burnley player that came on, played for 20 minutes. I think even took a penalty but missed. But it turned out that after the game, that this player was registered too late. I was reading that he was registered to play a minute after the time that you're supposed to, you know, register players. And so you've got some people. They ended up getting fined 20 grand, and I think 10 grand of that was kind of like docked. So it's 10 grand, and they're staying. You know, there's no replay, and they're staying in the competition. And apparently, Man United have decided that they're not going to sort of like try and fight it and that. But I think, do you know what I think should have happened? Because you have rules, right? Mm-hmm. I think that Grimsby should have got knocked out, taken out, because they didn't get the rules right. Man United doesn't go through; they're still out. But the team that Grimsby was going to play next, I think it was Sheffield Wednesday, right? They get a bye. They're automatically through to the next one. They get a bye because their opponent that they can't play has been excluded, so they get a forfeit. That's how they've done it.
10,000 is nothing. It's like 50 pence to you. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know if it's a Burnley, who knows, but that's how I would have done it, because otherwise, I mean, there's rules, right? You know, the rules are there. You've got to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Real quickly, we're going to move away from the Arsenal talk and talk about the transfer window. But news of the day is, might want to touch on Daniel Levy and the news breaking about him. He's left Tottenham finally. What's going on there?
It's a shame, isn't it? They should have kept him. I liked him.
Yeah,
he was good for them. I'd like to see him stay in. But it's funny because you see a lot of people on Twitter going like, now that Levy's gone, maybe like Saudis will come in and buy the club and this, that, and ownership. And I'm like, Daniel Levy did not own Tottenham. He isn't the owner. He's like a board executive member. It's owned by someone. Is it the Lewis family? He's not the owner, right?
Okay.
So it's not going to be anything like that. The owners are still the owners. He was just like you know, and the person they've already named the person taking his place, and it's somebody from within.
This is a little bit like David Dean, right?
Somebody Carrington. Yeah, David. Yeah, I would take. David Dean.
Okay. Like we want a comparison, right? You know.
Yeah, and they've already named the successor. It's someone else from within. Somebody Carrington, I think his name is. Yeah. So you're still going to have the same mindset, right? It's not like a manager where the manager's left, and you've had a manager for 3 seasons who's been really defensive, and now you're looking for a manager who's going to focus on the attacking. It's not like that. It's an executive. It's about spending money, and it's just somebody from within who's now moving into that position. It's still going to be managed when it comes to money and, you know, what comes into what goes out. The same way. You're not changing tactics. you know what I'm getting at? You're not changing ownership. Ownership
Yeah.
is still the same.
Yeah.
So it's still going to be run in the way that the current ownership wants it to be run. But, you know, the Tottenham fans hate Levy. You know, they blame him for a lot of stuff. You know, firing managers before cup finals. They notoriously don't pay high wages. Maybe we pay too much, but there's always been an issue. You know, they make a lot of money from that stadium, a lot outside of football. You know, they have Beyonce concerts and 50 Cent and all that, man. That makes a lot of money. It's about $1 billion or so. But they're
Those
like, so
NFL games add up
what?
there.
Yeah, why is that money not going straight into the team?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Why aren't we buying? You know, so I get it for the fans, but it's not like a manager where it's going to change with the next person.
It's a business, right?
Yeah.
Maybe tongue in cheek, Tiger and Gunner said Levy was good for Tottenham. Maybe sarcastic there. I don't know. But
for us, it's better the devil you know, isn't it?
Yeah, it is better the devil you know. We
it's not changing.
We know what the history of the Tottenham has been, and we would think the current history of the Tottenham would continue, albeit with Thomas Frank at the helm, who I think I rate him as a coach. I rate him as a very, very good coach. But Bournemouth rocked up to White Hart Lane last weekend and won 1-0. So, you know, the same old stink of Tottenham is hard to expunge from that club.
But they still got to spend a shit ton of money this summer. Same with United, because they qualified for the Champions League when they were almost relegation teams.
Well, you got to be careful now. You know, you can't just be in the Champions League and think you're Billy Big Bollocks. You know what I mean? What sets Arsenal and Liverpool apart from even Chelsea or Tottenham or Manchester United is the head office, the people up in the high offices who are making the right moves within the club, identifying the right talent and bringing them in. We now have Andrea Berta and the people behind him uh, bringing players in. And Gary's not here, as you mentioned, Tony, but you know, Gary would be happy with the level of players and the amount of players that have come in.
8 players.
7 or 8 players, Stan.
How long has Gary been asking for
one of them's on loan.
One on loan.
Gary's been asking for 8 players for.
He's been asking for years for a time.
Mental.
Yeah,
it's mental.
Let's diagnose what happened in the transfer window for Arsenal and then expand out of there. Who wants to go first?
Well, the first one was Zubimendi, wasn't it? That was a long, protracted one where we knew it was coming.
Yes.
You know, it's almost like when it's August and there's a bicycle under, you know, wrapped in Christmas paper. You know, okay, I know what I'm getting for Christmas then in August.
It was last year's
bicycle.
Christmas paper.
It's all wrapped up. Yeah. So we knew that was coming. I think Kepa as well. I think Kepa is a really good backup keeper to get for the money that we paid as well, 5 million. That's a good deal.
Liverpool fans want to.
As much as we don't like doing too much business with Chelsea, that's a good one.
That was a good one.
That's a good one.
Liverpool fans want to tell you that he was the most expensive goalkeeper and still is in the Premier League or in world football, right? But Kepa is a goalkeeper who played for Bournemouth last season, and they had a very, very good season. Bournemouth did. So that is a very, very good. Maybe your goalkeeper is going to get injured at some point for a few games. Maybe they will be rested for cup games. So we have a very able deputy in Kepa who could come in for Carabao Cup games and FA Cup games, which now seems to be the norm moving forward. But for 5 million, Tony, a great acquisition.
And some Champions League games.
And some Champions League games, because we got a nice draw in the Champions League. We'll touch on that as well. We got a nice draw in the Champions League. A couple of the weaker teams we're going to play before Christmas, and that will give us a nice base to start from.
We definitely have the easiest of the 6 English teams there.
Yes, and don't forget it. We'll be told about that as we go through the season. How we got lucky with the draw. How we got the best of the draw. You know what I mean? But
I've been very short and sweet when it comes to the Champions League, right?
yeah,
Since with Mikel Arteta in the Champions League, the first time he got us into the he got us into the was it the quarterfinals
quarterfinals. Yeah,
last season? He got us into the semi-finals.
yeah,
So I just want to see, with the amount of money that we've invested, I want to see progression there. I'd like to see us get to a final.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And continue that upward trajectory.
yeah.
If we only get to a quarter final and go out and not get to a semi-final, that's a backward slide from last season, right? The amount of
Right.
money that we spent, the way that we
You
fattened
look,
out, we fattened out the squad now. You look at, remember, right, when we was playing with Paris Saint-Germain, you look at the bench, right? You can imagine, he's looking at the bench and thinking, like, who am I going to bring on? Kieran Tierney, that's it, really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now you look at the bench, there's options.
Injuries hurt us.
And options that can actually come on and be meaningful in some way and do something. You know what I mean?
But you mentioned PSG, Stan, and of course I want to get to the final. I want to win it. But you mentioned PSG. It took them, 11 or 12 seasons to actually win it. They were in the Champions League for that long, for that many years.
I didn't say win it. I'd like us to win it, but I'm saying get us to the final.
Yeah.
At least get us to the final, right?
There were times where in PSG's journey when they didn't have the progression. They got to a quarterfinal or a semi-final, then they didn't get to the final next time. So it can happen, right? But Arsenal have definitely invested to the point of where we can say we are a very good team and we're likely in the top 5 or 6 best teams in Europe right now.
PSG's problem was they always had too many egos on the team.
Yeah.
And they have this young squad that clicked because we played them in the group stages. They were not a good team at all. And they
the other
progressed from there.
Yeah, the other thing to mention, we had Kepa. We brought Kepa in. We brought in Mosquera. We mentioned him in the first part of the show. Looks like a very, very canny addition to the squad. And you need to bring players in who understand they're going to be sitting on the bench for a period of time and not create a fuss. The likes of Kepa and Mosquera will understand their role in the squad. Norgard's another one who goes under the radar. You could forget about him because he actually had a couple of niggles in the last few games. But that is a good veteran leadership in the dressing room as well. Norgard will improve the cup teams, I would say, as well, and some Champions League games. Got to play some Premier League games as well. Zubimendi, the gift that we knew was coming a year ago. Well, we got him in the door. And who else? So we've mentioned maybe about 5 now. And then we got Gyökeres, Madueke, and Eze. And those are the forward players that need to come in and represent backup or help to Saka, Havertz, and Martinelli, and even Odegaard. I would agree. If we get to a final, of course you'd want to win it, but we're looking for visceral progression as well in this one. Paul Potts in the house. Am I the only one noticing that Guardiola is slowly getting rid of his players, tiki-taka, possession-esque players, and buying players that are not catered for in his own system? I also think that City are not going to be a team that's going to be in the title race. I think Paul Potts said. I think Ake, John Stones, and Bernardo Silva are gone. End of the system. The following year, Rodri and Pep are out basically in the entire team. Barring, excuse me, Foden and Haaland will be the only ones left. Yeah. So there's lots of change going on in the Premier League right now. Stan, our window overall, how would you rate it, or would you want to give a number associated with that as well?
Yeah, I would give it an 8 out of 10. And the only reason that I wouldn't give it a 10 is for 2 reasons. 1 point deducted because we have, we didn't really fix that left-hand side properly.
Yeah. Eze,
You know what I mean? Yeah, but I mean
that
properly.
was an opportunity, right? Was Eze an opportunity? One of
I don't
those
know.
market opportunities that presented themselves.
You know, because at one point they were talking about Eze and still Rodrigo, right? So they were definitely looking. Now, they weren't just going, no, it's just Eze and Madueke. There was, to me, it sounded like they were acknowledging that they wanted to do something on that side, and they didn't.
Ornstein.
So that's a point deducted. The other point that I deducted, which takes it from the 10 down to the 8, is if Alexander Isak was going to leave Newcastle, we should have at least been in the conversation. Because when people say like, Isak says that he's always it's only Liverpool that he wants to play for. It's like people have had their memories wiped, because there was a time last season coming towards the end when it was like Isak wants to play for Arsenal. If Isak was to leave, it would be Arsenal, right? And then as soon as there was no link or anything like that, do you know what I mean? And I think he might have even spoken to his people, because Berta speaks to everyone. Tapping up is no longer a thing, right? You're allowed to just speak to players without talking to the club, because that's what we did. We basically tapped up every player. Everyone does it. And then he switched to Liverpool. So he just sort of switched. And it's almost like everyone forgot when he was like linked to Arsenal, and it was Arsenal.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that, if he was going to leave Newcastle, we should have been at the table, at least show our intent. We may not have won the fight, but we should have been in there.
I don't want to call it tapping up. They used to call it tapping up, right?
Yeah, but you're not supposed to speak to, as I understand it, you're not supposed to speak to a player, approach a player in any way to discuss a transfer without getting permission from the club. If you do that, you're tapping up. But everyone does it. Apparently Andre Berta has like worked out personal terms with every male football player in every league. He knows what they want, how many years. It seems like, that's tapping up. Surely all of those clubs didn't give him permission.
Yeah. What do you want to call it, tapping up or not?
It's tapping up, right?
Yeah. People are talking to each other. Agents are talking to the club directly. So
it's not even under the table. You'll hear such and such as people have spoken to whatever, and they've already worked out the personal terms. Now it's down to them to make an approach, and you're like, isn't that backwards?
But didn't it?
It's just widely accepted.
Was it Gyökeres the one that called Arteta?
Eze.
I know what.
Eze.
Was it Eze? The same?
Yeah, Eze called Listen, I'm sure Gyökeres and Arteta talked as well through that saga. And I remember Sporting were at Arsenal for 3 or 4 or 5, maybe a week, right? Negotiating the finer details of that deal. But
I thought you were going to say 4 or 5 weeks, right? Because that thing went on.
Eze called Arteta to save him literally from Tottenham. You know what I mean? So these things happen, and I don't know what motivated Isak to stick with Liverpool. Maybe he watched Arsenal and our lack of ambition in January and was turned off by us. And Liverpool went on to win the league, and maybe he feels like I hope wrongly that he feels that Liverpool will be able to win more trophies than Arsenal in his time there. But first, there's 2 things there, Stan. Firstly, Isak would have been a lot of money, and instead of having 8 players, we would have brought maybe 5 players. Isak would have been one of them. You know what I mean?
Okay, let me ask you a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Arsenal and Liverpool both put a bid in to Newcastle for, say, £130 million and offered Isak exactly the same financial package as well,
yep,
where do you think Isak would have gone?
Well, as evidenced by what we've seen, he would have went to Liverpool, right?
No, I think that if Arsenal were at the table, both Arsenal and Liverpool put in the same bid, and they'd offer the player the same terms, I think Isak's an Arsenal player all day long. All day long.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
there's a lot of players in the Arsenal team that he's already knows and worked with. He'd have Zubimendi in his ear. He'd have Marino in his ear.
Odegaard.
He'd have Odegaard in his ear. Yeah. And he'd have Mikel Arteta waxing lyrical.
Yeah.
The same package. Yes, Liverpool are the current holders. But I just think that, Thierry Henry appeal, he'd be an Arsenal player.
But it's crazy.
I do think so.
Why did he ever?
I think we're the bigger pool.
Why did he ever go to Newcastle? Why did Isak go to Newcastle?
Just they were the ones that bid for him, right? It was like 63 million, something like that.
Why were we not involved?
Because I think it was something like he had a release clause. It was more than what Newcastle paid. We were supposed to be linked, and we were told a price, or there was a release clause, and we just went, it's too much. But somebody at Newcastle managed to get a deal done and get it under the valuation, and I think it was around 63 million. It wasn't something we were like told 75 or something like that, right? I'm guessing somewhere around there.
It was high.
But it's like, how comes we weren't able to make that deal? Why is there someone at Newcastle is able to make that deal and get it for that? Why is there no one at Arsenal that could have done that?
Came on the back of the takeover as well, the Saudi takeover of the club. Guimaraes went them there as well.
Tonali.
For the money, probably for the money. They're getting paid probably big wages there. But it sort of has all backfired on Newcastle now, unfortunately for them. This is a club that has many, many times the wealth of Manchester City. But they haven't been able to seem to take advantage of the situation.
Think of it this way, right? You're a sheikh. You want to buy a football club. You come, you buy Newcastle United. You've got loads of money. You give him the money. He goes out. He buys Isak. He gets Bruno Gummy Bears, Tonali. Some other players. Okay. And then it gets to the next season, the next summer, where you can buy more players. You bought Anthony Gordon as well. And you're like, right, what are we doing now? You go to the manager, right, how much do you need? So we can build on this. And he's like, well, actually, those good players that you bought me last time round? Yeah. Well, in order for us to buy another good player, we might have to sell one. Hey? What are you talking about? Yeah. What? Yeah. Have you seen how much money I've got hidden under the sofa? It's
Man City were able to do it. I'm just saying.
But the rules have changed, right? So that's where they are. It's like, okay, we're going to go again, right? We're going to go again. I'm going to throw money. It's like, we can't do that. What do you mean?
The rules didn't change, did they?
Yeah, the financial fair play changed. That's why they
all changed.
Okay. So,
Man City. That's why last year you had Aston Villa and some of those other teams over evaluating the players.
But Man City were able. So Man City were able to do all of these things with impunity, without any retribution. Right? Is that what you're saying? But now because
I don't know. There's those. They've done all of that sort of thing where it's like a sponsor, but a sponsor's paying more than the market rate.
Right.
So,
right.
Allegedly, I don't know the ins and outs of it.
That's like somebody selling.
There's one thing that Man City has that no other.
Saying the manager's getting paid this amount, but then other emails show that they get these bonuses for other things. Which actually means the manager's getting this amount allegedly. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
City have zero debt.
Nobody has zero debt.
City has zero debt.
So, Newcastle, I believe Newcastle have tried to live within their means in a legal way.
But the rules changed. It tighter. Last year we were under a warning. We were still kind of
Right, but
needing
now,
to sell players late this summer to not be over because of our wages.
so
So,
let's
so
say,
that was an issue.
so
But
Newcastle,
going back to Newcastle,
yeah,
remember it's owned by the Saudi National Fund, which is 400 billion, which is
uh-huh,
80% of the wealth of all the other owners of a Premier League combined.
yeah,
And also, that same group is the one that owns the four Saudi teams that are paying a shitload of money for these players. It's not the whole league. It's these four teams that are owned by the Saudi fund.
yeah.
I
Crazy.
do think though, I gave it 8 out of 10, but I do think it's one of the more rounded transfer windows that I've seen Arsenal do in a long time. And to go out and bring in 8 players, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's rounded out the team. The last time I remember us bringing in a load of players, they were all crap. It was like Liechtenstein, Mustafi, Mavropanos, Papadopoulos, and there's always bringing in a lot of players, and most of them were just shit. To be honest with you, but we seem to be really have rounded our team out. But every sort of time we go into a new season, for as long as I can remember, it's always felt like there's a position where we know that we're weak.
Yeah.
It's always felt like that. There was a period of time where it was like at a CDM, a defensive midfielder position. We knew that we never really did much after Gilberto.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And we never addressed it. It's always, we've always felt like, and for ages, it's been like a
striker. Yeah.
You know?
Striker.
Now it's like we've done well, we've rounded out the team, but it still feels like there's something on the left. Do you know what I mean? In the quality that Saka has on the right, that will just round out that team.
Can't quite put my finger on it, but it's something.
And it's an experiment. We're going to be experimenting between Martinelli, Trossard, Madueke, and Eze. Yeah. It's like there's nothing solid. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing solid. We need to nail it down. We need to go, okay, this is what we want on this side. This is who's doing it.
It's like
you're getting it. We need that.
Yeah. It's like the ground of Dagobah. It's unstable.
Yeah, well, we definitely should have went for Rodrigo.
Yeah, we need the higher ground.
Our X-wing is sinking on the left side. Our X-wing is sinking.
I still think we should have got a stronger backup for Saka. We still didn't get a backup striker. Havertz is out. At least you what?
Exactly.
Mourinho.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying.
Oh no, sorry, Marino. Backup striker.
Don't even jest about these things.
Why? Why? Hold on a minute. I think if anything.
You want to go back to a midfielder? You want to go back to a midfielder for a striker?
I think that's his role in the team now. What did he do wrong? What did he do wrong?
Arteta needs to prove us wrong. You know?
What did he do wrong? He done better than Eddie Nketiah ever did.
Yeah.
Didn't he? He was reliable.
Yeah.
All right, it's not prolific. It's not Haaland. He's not getting braces and hat tricks.
In January, when we didn't have a striker, I was happy that we had a midfielder who could score goals, for sure. Stan, talk to me about net spend when it comes to the transfer window. Net spend.
What is it?
Net spend is.
Was not supposed to know.
I thought you were a financial guru. Net spend is what you spent on players coming in versus what.
Tony, man,
he knows what that
Tony,
is.
you need to get some fucking WD-40 for that wheel.
Well, stop eating all those Twinkies.
It's the armrest goes
So
against the wheels.
what did we spend this window? It was like 200. No, was it
260, maybe 260. Let me
was
see.
295, I believe.
295.
I still think that when it comes to the transfer window, as much as I really, I like this window, it's rounded out the team. There's still one side of it that's annoyed me again, and that's that there's players that we've had to let go out and loan because we can't sell them.
Right. Do we pay?
And why can't we sell them? The wages. It's always the wages, man.
Yep.
We're good players. You can't say that we're tight-fisted at Arsenal. It's always the same story.
I know traditionally when you're in London, the standard of living's higher, right? Than it would be in Liverpool or Manchester. But
We've just given Trossard the pay rise, but haven't changed any like the years. Usually that's what it is, right? We've just said like have some more money.
We need to be.
He's like Trossard's like, right.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
next year,
Let's have some more money. You don't have to stay here any longer. Just have more money a week. I'll be like, cheers. Right? Why not?
Is that something Andrea Berta needs to look at next? Is the wages?
Well, why would you do that with a player? Unless there's some sort of a clause in the contract. And then my next question is, why is there that sort of clause in the contract? How did that get in there? Like you're literally going, have some more money.
Do we need to turn it?
Even though you're not in the starting 11, and sometimes you don't even make bench, have some more money. What are you going to say? No.
We need to dial it back, Stan. We pay too well. Arsenal pay too well.
Oh yeah,
we've done it for ages.
We for players. We paid 36 million for Zinchenko. That's too much money.
Yeah,
too much money. We're not getting. You know what I mean? You're not even getting a tickle near that.
He's moved on to. Wow, he's moved on to Nottingham Forest. He could actually turn out against us at the Emirates. You know that?
Are they allowed to do that? No, it's not allowed, are they? Are they allowed? I thought they weren't. I thought it was like a.
If they put it in the terms of the loan.
Sometimes that is part of it.
Yeah, but he could. I don't know what it is. He could play.
Laponga's been out on loan, hasn't
he? Yeah. So
these are players that we can't even sell these kind of players, right?
Reece Nelson.
Another one. Again, Reece Nelson is on loan, right?
Yeah.
And again, high wages, right?
Yeah.
Reece Nelson's on what? He's on at least 100 bags. Isn't he? At least. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That seems like that's like the minimum the first contract signing they get. It's like at least that.
So you got teams going like, all right, Reece, they go like, Reece, come over here. You can come and play here. You play every single week. But, do you know what I mean? I'm not paying you 100 bags. I'll pay you 60. Reece is looking at it and he's like, I've got another like 2.5 years left on this. Why would I do that? You want me to go from 100 to like 60?
Okay, so a couple of news things that have come out in the last couple of days. Martinelli was possibly going to move at the beginning of the summer for 40. Would you have taken that deal? Anywhere within the Premier League? Would you take 40 for Martinelli? I personally would not.
I would have took with 70 Vasadis were offered.
Yeah.
And I would have took the 50 million 2 years ago, like I said.
Yeah. And then today there was Besiktas have come in for Trossard for 22 million euros.
What, today?
Today.
Yeah, they got like another week before their window closes.
I remember reading that even though they gave Trossard that pay rise, I remember reading, and again it might be clickbait, but it was one of these ones that look real. But they were saying that they are open to do a deal with Trossard, even though he's had that pay rise, right? So again, right now, if the team's going to come in and buy him, they're like, "You just had a fucking pay rise." You want another pay rise? You know what I mean? It's do you know what I'm getting at? It's like we give Trossard a pay rise, and it just makes it harder to get rid of him further down the road because we've just been talking our teams are put off by the wages. We've just increased his. And it's not even a month since we've increased his. A team's thinking of buying him. I bet it's the Raiders that's going to be a problem. It's going to be you know what I mean? The Raiders will be a problem. So it'll probably be a loan with an obligation to buy. Kick the can down the road.
We have to get into a situation where we're not afraid to sell these players. Luis Diaz just went to Bayern for 55 or something, a lot of money to the Bundesliga, and Darwin Núñez went to Saudi for a decent amount of money as well. So these are areas where Arsenal have to improve. Andrea Berta's been here 6 months, and it's kind of tough to ask him to change that in 6 months, but come next summer, we need to start generating some decent cash for some of the players that we have. Hincapié came in for
speaking of
same amount as Kivior. Go ahead, Tony.
And Byron's one of those clubs that's always had a fairly tight wage structure where they're not paying these crazy prices.
Bayern Munich,
like we do. Yeah.
Yeah. Isak Verts, Katike. What about Liverpool's window, in your opinion, Tony? What do you see there? I can weigh in if you want.
Both their windows.
Yeah, both the windows, the start and the ending. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, because they got the Club World Cup. They did a lot of signings in. I thought I was nearly 200 million, just starting off the first 2 weeks of the summer, and then later on.
Well, what are you rating it on? You're rating it on
pretty good players,
or the number that they've spent.
I would rate it on.
You're saying that they've got value for money.
How you feel about it? That's basically how I would ask you to rate it. You know, if you're a Liverpool fan, how are you feeling?
Well, everybody was raving about this Florian Wirtz. I know it's only 3 games, but I'm not watching him and going, oh wow! Yeah. So that's why they spent 130 million on him. I've not seen that yet. So.
Declan Rice was on top of him every time he was near the ball. So he's not going to get the space to play in like he would maybe in the Bundesliga. You know, the Premier League know about these players coming in, and people like Declan Rice will be on top of them. Paulinho at Tottenham. This is another player who will be there as well. Tackling Wirtz. So for me, I think Liverpool have done well going in the forward positions. They bought good players, but I think the fullbacks or wingbacks or whatever you want to call them are very suspect. And
Frimpong and Kirkes.
Yeah, Kirkes especially. I think Frimpong's a bit of a better player, but maybe we have to see what he's like defensively. But defensively, Kirkes is shocking. He's too short, and he's getting that muscle on the back post.
I also think Konate looks really shaky as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, Virgil van Dijk is not getting any younger.
No. So, you know, if you want to make a case for Arsenal, that's what it is. You would feel that Liverpool have been deficient in some areas. They didn't get Mark Gahey in. And hope that what we've done is...
You think about it, right? Just Isak and Wirtz alone, I don't know what the deals are. I was hearing they were like 130 each. I don't know if that's
130. Let's round that out. 130. Yeah.
So if it's 130 each and that's including add-ons or whatever, they've just spent 260 million on 2 players.
$250,000 especially.
Just 2 players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some teams would love to spend that on multiple. Do you know what I'm getting at? That's like... And you know, they've done it within the rules. They've not done anything wrong. They didn't spend much in the previous windows. But,
yeah.
You know, it does make you raise your eyebrow. You know, they brought in an attacking midfielder for over 100 million, 130 million. They brought in, a striker that everybody was cooing after. Arsenal wanted him. All Arsenal fans were talking about his sack towards the end of
No,
last season.
I'd have
Do you know what I
taken
mean?
him.
We all
Yeah.
said that he was the one. He was the missing piece. 130 million. I mean, it just sets the bench now for the next players that want to get sold. I mean, it's like Jack Grealish going to Man City and going for 100 million, and then us having to buy, Declan Rice for 105 million, Caicedo going for 110. Do you know what I mean? This is where it's going. Now we've just sold two players for 130 million. It's madness.
I'd like to know
It's
what
crazy.
Everton paid. I'd like to know what Everton paid for Jack Grealish, because that looks like a good bargain. Even I know he started off pretty hot, and it's not going to keep going
Well,
that way.
it's a loan deal anyway, and then there'll be an agreement on a percentage of the salary. Who pays what percentage, right?
Yeah.
Is it 50-50? Is it 30-70?
Do you think, Stan, that Chelsea or Man City have moved the needle sufficiently to be in the title race?
Well, I know it's only pre-season, but I saw Man City playing Al Hilal from Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah.
And Al Hilal had them.
Yes.
Had them. Do you know what I mean? It was just like, okay.
Yeah.
So
no defensive midfielder gone missing as they ran all over him a little bit.
Is it a case that sometimes, like, you know what I mean, you can be somewhere for too long and it gets a bit stale?
Yes.
Has Pep Guardiola given them every pep talk at half time or at the beginning of the match or at the end of the match that he can? Is he now starting to repeat himself? Have they heard it all before?
Yeah.
But there is something happening because they've got rid of Edison, right? He was, an expensive goalkeeper when he was born. And although they've telling you, man, you've got to get some oil for that. But even though they've replaced him with a really good goalkeeper in Donnarumma, Donnarumma is not known for playing with his feet. That's the one thing that when people talk about Donnarumma, that's the one criticism. If you want to play it out from the back, but he's a good shot stopper.
Yeah, I'm
so
surprised.
That tells me that, like, do you remember there was a period where Man United were kind of going a bit downhill, and so they had to have someone like De Gea. They needed a shot stopper, would pull them out of games. And I think that's what's happening here with Donnarumma. Donnarumma's a good shot stopper, and they're like, people are getting too many shots off. You know what I mean? We need, you know what I'm getting at? This is what we need now.
Yeah.
Some protection. And that's a sign when you're going in that area to fix the team. That tells you all that you need to know.
Yeah,
but they're going to be there or thereabouts. But I do think that maybe the Pep era could be coming to an end there at the end of this season. They're going to win some games. Haaland's going to score goals, but I'm not so sure whether they're going to win a treble, for example. I think maybe those days are gone. I don't think Liverpool are in that. I don't think Liverpool are in that position. I don't think Liverpool are in that place where they're winning trebles. Yeah. But I think that we are able to give. I think we have, looking at the squad, I think we have enough to give the teams that will be fighting for the league a run for their money and maybe win it. It's going to mean that we are able to keep people fit for longer periods of time. And I think the one person that needs to really change a little bit of their approach is the manager. He has to be a little bit more bolder. I know it's only been a few games, but he also has to trust his bench. He also has to be able to make substitutions to give players enough time to come in and actually, make an imprint on the game and not expect him to work magic in 3 minutes, something like that. So I think the manager is really key. The decisions that he makes to how well this team can do. Because I do think that we've got a team that can challenge. Not seeing enough of Gyökeres notwithstanding. I haven't seen enough of him yet.
We haven't. I mean, if you are being critical about Arsenal and say that they've not really unlocked Gyökeres yet, there's an argument to say that you're right in that regard. We haven't really given him the service that he needs, and in all of that, he scored 2 goals from 3 games, and hopefully next weekend we're talking about 4 goals from 4 games, and then that's the currency a striker lives off of. Um, in the documentary, there was a depth chart where you would say Martinelli's on the left, and then you have the names beside Martinelli who could deputize. It can't always be Mikel Mourinho. It can't always be, Mikel Mourinho in the left wing, Mikel Mourinho in the number 10, or Mikel Mourinho in the right 8. It can't always be that situation. There are other players. There's Odegaard, there's Eze, there's Waneri, Dauman,
But
Trossard.
he
And
Darman got on. I
but
mean, if you think about the
they all
situation
started
there,
on the
right? If you think about the
so, yeah.
situation there, it's away at our main rival.
Yeah.
We're you know, I mean, we're up against it.
Yeah.
And he brings on the 15-year-old. So it tells you what they obviously think of this guy, of where he is. Do you know what I mean?
I take that on board, but Waneri's sitting on the bench after proving to you last season what he can do.
Yeah, but maybe positionally on the right-hand side, which is where the space was, they feel that Dauman is better in that position than Waneri. He can
And
give you more.
Eze
You know,
has just won an FA Cup with Crystal Palace. You know,
About it's on the right-hand side, right? But but maybe in another situation, let's say it's Odegaard is out. You've got Eze playing in Odegaard's position, yeah, and then you're getting into like the 65th, 70th minute, and you need to make that change of Eze because he's been on from the start, and you've got Dauman sitting on the bench, and you've got Waneri. Maybe in that instance, it's Waneri that gets the nod because of the position.
Yeah.
You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah. Anything else of note to talk about? Spurs have improved in players and personnel. We'll see how that goes. I think they'll be a stronger outfit than last season. They have to be better than Ange Postecoglou's group were.
So who do
Well,
they bring in? They brought in Xavi Simons, Carlo Muani,
Kudos, good
and
player.
there
They
was
brought
another one.
Paulinho came back from Bayern. He
Okay.
used to be with Fulham. He was a good player in the Premier League. Remember him?
It seems like that was ages ago.
Yeah. Listen, Jesus been left out of the UCL squad for Dauman. I think it's a sign of the times, Red John. You've caught us just as we're about to be leaving in the next 5 or 10 minutes here. Sounds like Jesus is being moved on. Yeah, I mean, these are the things that we need to do in subsequent transfer windows. Jesus, we need to get a decent fee back for Jesus. 30 million, 25, 30 million for Jesus.
You're not getting that for him.
How much you paid for him? Was it like 42, wasn't it?
It was 40. It was high, 40s. In
I
the
thought it
Premier
was
League,
50.
Tony,
I thought it
you
was
could
50 something.
you could sell Gabriel Jesus to a Brentford or a West Ham for 25, 30 million easily. There's
Who?
money in the Premier League. Jesus.
I know he's not. He's going back to Brazil, isn't he? For sure.
No,
I
think
sell him
so.
to someone. Sell him to somebody in the Premier League.
No,
Then
I
he's
think
going
he
to
goes
go.
back to Brazil.
He wants to go back to Brazil, as I understand it. He's going to end up going to Brazil, which again, it's like usually they don't have loads of money to spend, right? But I believe that Gabriel Jesus wants to go back and play for. I can't remember what team it is now. It's either Corinthians or Santos. I work with this guy, Brazil. It's all about Brazil.
But you have to remember, Stan, how those players make money there is getting their image rights and stuff like that.
He probably wants to live there
Some of
again as well, right? He probably actually wants to live back there as well. It's a nicer climate. If they can pay him a nice wage. Why wouldn't you want to go back to Brazil?
Go back to Brazil?
But the
Do,
team he
do, do you,
supports is in Brazil, and the team that he supports is, I think, the one that he's connected to, right? So why not? He's got a
do
chance
you
to play
want
for the club he supports.
Mm-hmm.
do,
Red John
do you
said,
want to be in
"Do you
do
want
you
to be
want
what?"
really want to be in rainy, foggy England, or do you want to go be on the beach in
Uh,
Brazil?
he could get paid quite well in the Premier League still at a place like West Ham or Crystal Palace.
But like I said, they can make good money off their image rights and stuff in
Red John
Brazil.
said,
So sometimes a team owns part of it, sometimes a player does.
Alonso's coming now. The stream is going to end. It's his MO, says Red John. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
Alonso does. It's on the tin. Jesus can walk on water. Why would you sell him to Brazil? He can. I wouldn't sell him to Brazil. I'll sell him to England and
he's
get a
going to go to
decent.
Brazil. He wants to go
We're
there. I'm telling you.
Stan. We're in a
Right, let's
situation
do
where
wait and
we
see.
need to get money back. We need to start generating funds. We can't just be kind and send them back to Brazil with a
No, we
nice
try and
little
get some
tenner.
money, but it'd probably be like maybe, I don't know, somewhere
And
between 15 to 20, 25 maybe. I
uh,
don't know.
we could get more
How,
from the Premier League
how,
club.
how long is left on his contract also plays a part.
Yeah.
The length of the contract, do you know what I mean? If it's not long on the contract, we'll take, that means that we'll take as what we can.
Everton have done well picking up Jack Grealish. Who else is up there? Manchester United. We talked about Manchester United. Sesko is gone MIA. Dodged the bullet there, maybe. Um, Cunha and Mbeumo. Manchester United seem to be uh, a ship lost at sea, right? It has no captain. It's rudderless, and it's just floating in the sea, moving
Great
from
to
one
see.
to another. I knew that they would get that emotional win against Bournemouth, but I didn't think it would take them till the end of the game to do that. Uh, Brentford are in trouble. West Ham, a very very strange result last weekend. West Ham beating Nottingham Forest. That's a team that was in trouble. Tony, West Ham at the bottom of the league
Yep.
and was able to pull out a win. I think it was Alonso who said it that Jared Bowen was a good player, and Jared Bowen scored last weekend. The craziest part about Jesus is he peaked during his debut at the Emirates when he scored a hat trick against Sevilla as well. Um, when your debut is your peak, that's mad. So, Stan, take us out of here. We'll probably leave it here. You got any food in the oven? Is food ready, Stan? What's going on?
Yes, I'm having chicken wings with some sort of lemon tangy sauce on it, apparently.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we're going to have that while I watch Catch Up with EastEnders. EastEnders evening.
Is the
Yeah.
EastEnders up to date or is it delayed by like 3 years
No, I get it like,
on the
on the
box?
dime. Oh yeah. My missus loves it. She's Canadian, right? She started watching EastEnders. She loves it.
Yeah. Well, there is a lot of drama in it, right? There's always a storyline going on. And the
Yeah,
great thing about EastEnders or any other soap is you can leave it for 3 months and come back and feel like you haven't missed anything. You know what I mean?
And it's about time for me to wear some more t-shirts.
right.
See
Thank
you,
you,
Stan.
everyone.
Take care.
Take care,
All right.
everyone. We're done out.
We'll leave
We're
it.
out of it.
Right.
See you on the next one.
See you, Stan. We'll close it out here. Alonso, you got like 30 seconds, Alonso, if you want to join. Tony, give us some words of wisdom to take us into the weekend.
Well, I'm 23 or 25 hours and 59 minutes away from my birthday, which
Yeah. All right.
barely got to this one. I mean, literally, the hospital was telling my home health nurses that I was dying, that I wasn't going to live, but
So
somehow
your
my
birthday's on
kidneys decided.
Saturday. Your birthday's
My
on
birthday
Saturday.
is, yeah, my
Yeah.
birthday's on Saturday, which always means I never get to see Arsenal because it's always a fucking international break.
Well, you're a 69. right? The 6th day of the 9th month.
Could be that way.
If you're
Oh,
European, you're 69.
yeah.
If you're not European,
American.
you're
I'm
96.
I'm 96, or just upside down 69.
And you're celebrating with Youngling? Is that Youngling?
Yeah, that's what I have for now. I'll pick something else up. Then I'll
Good
get
old,
my
good old Pennsylvanian beer.
then I'll get my traditional. I used to give a bigger cheesecakes, but the prices have skyrocketed. So I'll get a cheesecake and a red velvet cake. What was cool at one time at Walmart in the refrigerated cake
Tony,
section, it was cheesecake underneath it and there's red velvet on the top.
you can't eat that stuff, Tony.
Yeah, I can. Cheesecake has plenty of protein, so it just burns up.
Fat,
And,
plenty of fat.
and cake, I can just. If you see my cholesterol, you'll understand I can eat as much fat as I want to because
Oh
it's
my
very
God.
good.
Um,
Hey, it's almost too good, right?
Rasmus Hoyland was meant to be Sesko. Seems like United have no clue what they're doing.
But
And
but
they're
but this week,
on the
this
rebound.
this week I've turned into Gary. This is my sixth podcast. Done three wrestling world watch-alongs. My normal weekly one.
Trump
Turned
will get
Gary
you
on.
the cake. Trump will get you the cake. It's the Trump tariff. The cake is more
Eh,
expensive. Tiger season is
eh,
over. Tiger and Gunner. Yeah. Is that a
What,
blessing?
what,
It's
what
over.
made
I
me
think it's
mad? I was
over.
looking for coffee, and like all the coffee had raised like $2 in price.
Happy
It's like,
birthday, Tony, for this Saturday coming. How old are you? 29?
I will be 46.
Get the half century yet?
Not yet. Not up there with you and Gary.
You will get there. You will get there. You
You
watching
got
this?
well. What are you guys? What are you guys? You chose Stan by like 3 years, 2.5 years, somewhere in there.
Yeah, yeah. We're aging.
Because yours is January, Gary's is April 7th.
Yeah, mine's January. I'm older and wiser than Gary. He won't like that. I'm wiser and older than Gary. I've not been able to
Ah,
keep up with the snooker, Tiger and Gunner. All right, Tony.
I
We'll-
I
we'll-
remember all our snooker talk. You came up with my snooker nickname.
Tony Drago, the Maltese Falcon. You would have liked Tony.
Hooray.
You would have liked Tony Drago. Tony Drago was lightning fast and very
How,
talented.
how much difference is it, Ray? Because I know you went and played it all the time.
Yeah.
But how much different is it if you go to like a pool hall here and just the sheer difference in the size of a table? It's a
Well,
totally different strategy.
from a pool table to a snooker table,
Yeah.
it's completely different. Yeah, it's a completely different strategy. You have to play. You have to play much better positional play because the table is so much bigger. You have to be
It's like what is it comparable to? Like a full size dining room
it's
table, like one of
12
the
by
long.
6, 12 feet by 6 feet.
Yeah, so that's just a little bit narrower or wider than what a pretty
Yeah.
like a double leaf dining
It's
room table
probably
would
it's
be.
probably 4 pool tables.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's probably as big as 4 pools tables. Tiger and Gunner said Tony Drago is great. He's a 9-ball player now. The thing about snooker is you have to get position on the one ball correctly so you can get to the next ball correctly.
So
You know?
so with all the Irish there around where you live, also
Yeah,
you can go to Massachusetts.
I
So
have
care Are they snooker holes that you can go to, Rick?
There are a couple of places that I'll message you later with them. There's a couple places that I could go to, but you'd have to drive specifically to those destinations. So it's definitely in my future to play a little bit. But snooker is a game I really loved. You know. Hey,
Do
what?
you play? Do you
So
play
Tony,
when you go back? When you go back home, do
no, I
you
haven't
play?
played since I was probably in my 20s or 30s. Um, when I win the lottery, Tony, I'm going to buy a big enough house that I can have a big snooker table and a big man cave because this Powerball is was not won, right?
Yeah.
This Powerball was not won, so it rolls over, and that's the deal,
My,
right?
my 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 grandparents had that problem because they have had a bar, or there is a bar there in the living room. The living room's like 33 foot long, but to have couches and stuff, there wasn't enough room for a
Uh,
pool table, so they
Red
sold
John,
it to my
I know,
uncle
I know where you're
by
going with this
marriage.
one, Red John. I know where you're going with this one. Nine balls sounds excessive. Yeah, you should only ever carry two, because nine balls would get pretty heavy. Um, Nine ball is 9 by 4. It's a little bit bigger than pool table. It's not easy being Eze, right? Pretty sure Tony only has two balls. He might only have one. Who knows? He might have
I
had to
got to.
sacrifice. Might have had to sacrifice one to pay for
No,
another part.
no, not yet. I don't harvest organs to get killed in other places.
I love the game of snooker, Tiger and Gunner. Has the sheriff called you lately?
Um, I have not spoke to him in probably 4 or 5 months.
Oh, okay.
I have been ghosted.
He's been ghosted by the sheriff in
Yeah.
town. Yeah. Tiger and Gunner's got a Powerball going on as well. That beer is going down nice and easy, Tony. You're enjoying that one. Um, Most of you probably know or don't know that Tony's night is just getting started, right?
Yeah.
Tony's a regular 3 and 4 a.m. person. Is the sheriff?
It was funny. Last night, it's like Chris went to bed, telling me to go to bed. Then he woke up this morning, and I was still talking to him on WhatsApp.
You're still
He's
talking to
like,
him?
yeah, he's like, go to bed.
Jesus. He's drinking Coke. You're drinking Coke in that beer bottle. All right. I have to buy a couple of beers for next Thursday night. We'll have a couple of beers together next Thursday night. Okay. There you go. And I really
I,
enjoy the podcast when I have a couple of beers with me as well. So,
yeah, I
okay.
miss it. So sometimes I usually stayed under 6, but there was times I'd be up to like 9 or 10 beers. It's like, what
Uh,
is Tony to say now?
all right. Where's Gary today? So, Gary is probably hoping that his Dallas Cowboys
Well,
can beat.
why is the game delayed?
There's mad thunderstorms going on here.
Oh, so the ones we had yesterday.
So during this podcast, you might have actually heard the thunderstorms going on. Um, if not, um, so Philly's probably 2 hours from me right now, but the storms rolled toward Philly. So Gary is probably watching the game, hoping that the Eagles can be beaten. Um, Tiger and Gunner has been SpongeBob's nail. Tony's just warming up. Yeah, he'll have a few more beers. And then mine is in a few hours. So there you go. All right, Tony, we'll let you go. Okay. This game will not be delayed forever. the local time here is 6 minutes past 11 in the evening. So they have to finish more than a quarter of a game, and the last 2 minutes takes 15 minutes just by itself. So
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's about as bad as basketball. That last 2 minutes can literally take up like 20 minutes of time.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, crazy. Um, oh no, Alonso's here. Should we
Uh-oh.
let him in? Should we let Alonso in? People
Yeah,
in people in chat box. Should we let Alonso in? Alonso, give me a thumbs up. Give me a
Alonso's
thumbs up.
joined me twice this week already. There's Alonso for a third time this week.
How's it going, guys?
Well, I was just about to hit the end stream.
Yeah, I'm sure you were already.
But like literally like 10
You
minutes
make him
ago, he gave you
you're making
he
Red
gave you
John look like
t- literally 10 minutes ago he gave you a 30-second deal, but somehow I got Ray stuck on snooker, so we've been here nine and a
Oh.
half more minutes.
you do that deliberately, Tony, because Red John did predict you would come in right at the end, Alonso.
Oh, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate Rajon and Tuggy Jr. Yeah, but it was on delay, so I had plenty of time to chat.
Yes.
So
How about those Eagles? Are they playing well or no? Are they playing? Tony's got those beers. Pass
it's
me a beer, Tony, will you?
I
it's
only
like
have two
Tony,
left.
pass me a beer. Come on. My hand's right here.
hey Paul, I have a question.
Paul?
Right, so
Paul
So,
Turner?
so the Eagles got a fumble. I think it was Kywan Mitchell who got a
Yeah.
fumble off of Prescott. So the Cowboys has a score, and they got a fumble. They're about to go for a touchdown, but then Prescott got him tackled in time. But
Is the
it's a
game
close
back
game.
on? Is the game back on?
Almost. It's they're rocking out of 10 right now, but.
All right. I'm gonna wind it out here anyway. All right, Alonso. I'll give you a couple more minutes, but
Yeah, no problem.
So yeah, I saw that Dallas were about to score, and that's the fumble maybe you're talking about right now.
Yeah, this is good because I mean, dude, like Jalen Carter,
That was
I
disgusting.
did,
Yeah,
I didn't see it live. My boss
I
told me
saw
about
it.
it,
I couldn't believe it.
but I mean, to me, Ray and Tony, like, why do that crap now? You know, why do it at all?
It's the worst thing you can do as a
And
human being.
he's had some baggage before he
Yeah, he
even drafted
does.
to the Eagles.
Maybe Prescott said something to him, which is out of line as well.
Perhaps, but we don't know. What's unfortunate is that the immaturity of Jalen Carter is
Yeah.
what is going to make the headlines, right?
Yeah,
And I'm
it
sure
was
Jay was.
immature. It was not a professional thing to do. You have
And
to
it is
You can't spit at somebody. That's what he did. He spat at somebody
right.
when he went face to face with the quarterback. They were just jawing, talking like this. You can do all that, but you can't spit at someone. And then he was ejected from the game. So
And he knows better because this is his third year in the league, and he's a veteran now, so he's a head case, man. He's got to grow up. Like remember last year how he got into an argument with the Saints fans. And it's like, dude, like, at what point is he gonna grow up?
right. I mean, I'll give him a pass for that last year, but when you do this, you can't.
Can't come back from that.
I'm sure there'll be disciplinary action against him for that.
There will be, and it's come at a time that the Eagles are just getting started, and
Yeah.
Coach me will say, well, if they lose this game, it's because of Jalen Carter, which is unfair, but
Yeah.
You
Hey,
know,
right now, as Gary would say, the Eagles are playing down to the opposition. That's what Gary would say.
Jesus. Yeah,
Right?
I guess.
You know what I mean?
So you guys talked about the game, huh?
Huh?
You guys talked about the game match.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. Yeah. The Arsenal.
Yeah.
Our very poor starting lineup.
Yeah, when I looked at the lineup, right, and Tony, I thought to myself, man, what is he doing? Like, do you guys remember how we set up against them like 2019?
Yeah.
And I think it was Tony Adams who said that they're lining up in an industrial midfield, as he called it. Remember that?
Big
And
something. Yeah.
and then we get a defensive midfielder named Tierra scoring a goal. And it's like, I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but this is before COVID happened. This is like the second year of the season, 2019, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was just, it was doomed to fail, it seemed like, They had Pepe and Aubameyang, aka Aubameyang, starting up front. Pepe was winger, and it's like you knew that it was doomed.
AKA.
I still can't believe I have that Pepe shirt.
You have a Pepe shirt, Tony?
Yeah.
How many different ways are there to say Aubameyang?
The new yellow
Boomerang.
banana one.
A boomerang.
That year I bought Lacazette's jersey.
I should have got Lacazette.
All
Like
right.
the year,
Let me ask
the
you.
year before, I got that black and pink one.
So, Alonso.
Okay.
Alonso. In the
Mhm.
squad that we have this year, whose name would you have on your jersey?
I'll have Declan Rice.
Declan Rice. He had a monster game up at Anfield. He gave Verts a hard time. Tony,
Gabrielle,
you picked
move
Gabby.
your legs.
Big Gabby.
Big Gabby.
Big Gabby. Oh, you got it already. Okay.
Yeah, I thought I lost it. It worked.
I
Yeah.
want the.
I would take
I want the third. I want the third kit.
Eze or Gyökeres for me, I would say. That's what I would take.
Somebody can order me a third kit for my birthday.
But
Yeah.
the third kit. You want
like
the third kit?
I want the third kit.
You look good in white.
Look good in white and red or maroon. With my Oklahoma Sooner colors.
You had the away one. You had the first away one there, Alonso. Is that what it was?
No. Oh yeah. This one now. No, this was in 2000. This is this year's.
This year's. Yeah. That's the training one, isn't it?
No,
it's the lightning. It's the lightning away.
This is away.
Okay.
The lightning away one.
Well, why don't we play? Why didn't we use that shirt on Sunday?
Who knows, dude?
Yeah, it's all marketing, right?
I think we're on pace to use the third kit more so than we are to use the away kit.
Well, the first game we almost always wear the first kit or the third kit. I mean, because it usually goes on sale that week. But they did the sneaks. They started the sales earlier than they normally do, and also they did it on more sites. Usually, the third kit's only available through the Arsenal site.
But it's funny because I got the Fanatics kit. It came the week of, or not, it came the Sunday. But however, if you got anywhere else, it would have been like a delay until September, which is weird.
Yeah.
But I got mine almost in time.
I think because they ship them from the UK. I think that's what the deal is.
Okay.
They don't keep them over here like I do away and home kits.
So you mean so then that means that they had some allocated, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys, listen, I am going to end the stream here, and I will.
Huh.
You two can continue talking
You,
afterwards.
you,
Uh,
you can give me
Oh
enough
my
time
gosh,
to
the
finish
Eagles
my
game.
second beer.
no, we're going to leave it there. Arsenal lose 1-0 to Liverpool in what was an extremely close game, heading for 0-0 until a set piece, fantastic goal from Zabazai broke the
Mhm.
deadlock. Mr. Mikel Arteta failed, in my opinion, to set the team up correctly. Failed to do anything in the early parts of the second half when we could see the game was going away from us and we are getting stretched. And only brought on subs in the 69th minute once again. Too little, too late, Mikel. And you need to be a little bit more adventurous. We're going to play 18 other teams other than Liverpool, and that will determine how we are going to do in the league this season. The league is not over. We were 2-2 against Man City this time last year, and we took them back to the Emirates and beat them 5-1 at the Emirates. Let's not forget that. Something similar can happen with Liverpool next toward the end of this season. We play Liverpool again in January. There are four competitions. Liverpool will not win all four competitions, and Arsenal need to be there um, to win something this season. The criteria has to be Mikel Arteta winning something. So with that,
Which one do you put the most weight on? Do you do the Champions League since that's the least amount of games? Or
you talk about over the league.
yeah, do you pick that over the league, or do
So
you pick?
the league is your bread and butter every week. You need to be consistent in the league. The Champions League is a smaller, shorter league campaign. It's also a league. It's a super league. It's a league campaign and then a knockout stages. I put more credence over the Premier League than the Champions League myself. Um, the cups are 5 or 6 rounds, and you win a cup. You know, I'm making it sound easy, right? It's not easy, but we've been doing this. Mikel Arteta's been doing this for a time, and he needs to start winning trophies. All right,
He has to get past January on the domestic cups. That's just
definitely. With
th-
that
3 years running. That's bad.
it's horrible. With that being said, I'll see you folks again maybe next Thursday or a little bit later than that. Okay,
Almost Thursday, so I may be able to join.
on the next, not this weekend, but the
Oh well,
weekend
then,
after. One of the
yeah.
Sunday shows, the weekend after. Maybe the Sunday you can join me the Sunday after the Nottingham Forest game, the 14th.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, because I always try to get off work during early games, like 6:30 games, because
Yeah.
there's no way I could bounce back from like.
All right. We'll see you guys out there. Thanks for everybody watching. We always do appreciate you. And Tony, Alonzo, and Stan, appreciate your time dropping by as well. Gary,
I'll
if
be
you're
a
watching,
year older the next time I see you guys.
you'll be happy birthday, Tony. Happy birthday. You're going to be an old
Happy
fucker.
birthday, happy
You're going to
birthday,
be an old
Tony.
fucker in 2 days from now.
Saturday,
Yeah, you'll be old.
old
Gary,
fucker.
if you're watching the Cowboys, why? Why are you watching the Cowboys, Gary? They're going to
Because
lose.
they're America's team.
Fly, Eagles, fly, Alonzo.